I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration. Shocking news. Joycelyn Savage parents want money. Folks hate to see a black man winning. Free R. Kelly. I want to do this demonstration because this kind of demonstration for me has been well overdue. Y'all know I'm one that's big on accountability. I don't believe in people not being held accountable. Right? Now, for so long, it's been known that folks hate to see a black man winning. Now, in this demonstration, I'm going to prove that point. However, there are plenty of black men that ain't ish. Let's just get that out the way. I'm gonna call a spade, all right? I'm not saying that all black men are good. I'm not saying that black men should go without being held accountable. But what I'm saying is, in the R. Kelly case, it boils down to folks hate to see a black man winning. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to tell you why. And then in this demonstration, I'm going to prove to you. Okay, R. Kelly is doing time, and he's doing hard time for what crime? I'll let those on the replay game, and I'll let those in the chat tell me, why is R. Kelly doing 30 years? Is he doing 30 years because he's a mob boss? Is he doing 30 years because he was Chicago's biggest pimp? Exactly. Why is R. Kelly doing hard time? Mob bosses get the type of time that R. Kelly got. Major pimps get the type of time that R. Kelly got. So I want to know, do R. Kelly fall under the status of a mafia boss? Do he fall under the status of a pimp? Now, I'm going to be playing some old clips. I'm going to be playing some new clips. I want to start off with Joycelyn Savage's parents. Now, this is a new clip. They recently came out and they feel as though, and they have been feeling this way for a long time, they've been feeling that their daughter, Joycelyn, is being brainwashed. Now, early on, way before R. Kelly was arrested, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I do believe Joycelyn parents hand-delivered Joycelyn over to R. Kelly after knowing that R. Kelly was a pedo. All right. Appreciate that super sticker, Still Swinging Podcast. And make sure y'all subscribe to the Still Swinging Podcast. Appreciate that, Still Swinging Podcast. But let's jump into Joycelyn parents' video. They wants to talk to Joycelyn. I believe they're saying it's been years since they've spoken with Joycelyn, and they feel like she's been brainwashed.
We definitely have seen her out in public. The video that we saw did bring some concerns because it appears that the video is AI generated. Anybody knows about AI, how realistic videos can be from just a simple picture.
How many of y'all believe that video of Joycelyn the recent video, and I'll play it after they finish. But Joycelyn is speaking about she's still down with Kelly. You know, that's her fiance, and she's gonna ride or die. How many of y'all think that that video is AI? I don't believe it's AI. I don't. Drop a 1 if y'all think that video is AI. Drop a 2 if you disagree. I just don't believe that they're going to go through that much for her to, you know, look like she's in defense of R. Kelly. Appreciate that super sticker, Jaquetta. Jaquetta is also a content creator. Make sure y'all subscribe to Jaquetta as well. I see you, Justin, and I see you, Sue. This will be an open panel discussion. Just give me a minute and I will drop the link. Anyone that would like to pull up on the panel, please feel free to pull up on the panel with me. Justin says it was not AI. I'm with you. I mean, I'm with you. But let me let the parents finish. And then we're gonna go to the actual video.
Speech didn't match some of the video recordings. The Justice Whipping Rod image on her shirt. Actually, the mouth moved when she talked, and so it's brought some serious questions, and it confirms why
very serious concerns.
It confirms why we have been fighting so hard just to make sure she's fine, healthy, and okay. Basically, that's all we want to know. Like in the video, that was her. She said that she has a choice if she wants to have a relationship with her family, her parents especially, and that's true.
Well, let me say this, all right? I see you, Alicia, keeping it real. Let me say this. When R. Kelly, his attorney, and R. Kelly supporters was saying that alleged tape of R. Kelly inappropriately touching the 14-year-old, and everybody was saying that video was tampered with, that video was cropped. Nobody didn't want to believe that. Tudor says Joycelyn is grown. He's incarcerated, so she's free to leave at her own free will. She just doesn't want to, and that's okay. Her parents are delusional, and I don't think you could have put it any better than that, Tudor. Joycelyn is grown. R. Kelly is incarcerated. Let me guess. He's threatening her. How? She knows he's never getting out. So when will the lies, when will the tearing R. Kelly down, when will it stop? Last time I checked, usually when people take a fall, right? Usually when people hit rock bottoms, usually the majority of the people around them, they leave. However, there is always maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3 people that regardless of what, they're there and they're in your corner. And why can't it just be that with Joycelyn? Why can't it be that she really loved him from the beginning? Because see, that's how you tell. That's how you going to tell who was fake and who was real. If you ever had money, if you ever had money, you know how this thing works. You know, I've had money, I went broke. I had money, I went broke. I had money, I went broke. When I had money, I had everybody around me. I had them. When I went broke, a couple of them hung around. When I got money, here they come. When I went broke, a couple of them hung around. So why can't just be Joycelyn is one of those real ones? We know, and I prove without a shadow of a doubt that Sparkle was fake. I proved that in 4 of my demonstrations. Sparkle was around only for the bag. Sparkle was only around for the clout. So she definitely was fake. But why can't be that Joycelyn stayed 10 toes down with R. Kelly? Why I gotta be, oh, he's manipulating her, he's controlling her? How? How? I see the chat. I see the chat.
We just wanted to make sure she's fine, healthy, and okay. And
That's all we asked for.
And the video that we saw today, it still doesn't answer our questions because the video definitely appears to be AI generated.
We've been through so much as a family. You know, we have no other choice tonight to file a report, a missing person report, twice. If you think back and look at all the times that has happened in the past where they said that she had a baby, that was false. They also said some other things about her that was false, like the book, false. The Patreon account, false. These things concerns us as a parent. We really need to find what's going on with our daughter, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on. We're eager to find out.
In my opinion, I think just like the rest of them, I think the parents is still on a money grab. Justin says that situation is more deeper than we know. They'll use a reason why she don't want to talk to her parents, and it doesn't have anything to do with R. Kelly. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Justin. Miss Groovy says Joycelyn was 23 and in college when she connected with R. Kelly. She could leave at any point, especially now. Her parents have been lying since the beginning, just like Azriel parents. And I'm going to go into an old clip of Azriel because remember, in the beginning, Azriel was pretty much riding with R. Kelly. 3 years later, Azriel started to dance to a different drum sound. Antoinette says, don't bring your funky ass down here in the hallways. Joe Clark, stay in your office. Sasha says, Shank, can you dig into Hugh Hefner background, Elvis Presley, and Jerry Lee Lewis when you get time, and the Nickelodeon crew, and see what their pedo and criminal activities they were able to get away with? And I will do that, Sasha. I will do that. Because I think that it's time for us to put the attention on the Caucasians. Why do it always have to be when the black man gets taken down? Why do we as black content creators, why is it those are the only content that we cover? You know, we quick to speak on our brothers. We quick to speak on black men that's being torn down, that's caught in these situations. But why we won't do demonstrations about them Caucasians? Same thing. So, I mean, Sasha says, that's right, get that out there. I'm on it. Jaquetta says, fact, Shank. I mean, Hugh Hefner, the Bunny Ranch, that's pimping. That's pimping. Salute, Mel. I see you, Mel.
So please, pay attention. Look at what we see and judge for yourself and tell somebody else and say, hey, does this look like an AI generator? Because it looks like it to us. So thank you.
And whoever is behind the video, we demand answers, and we hope to get a resolution soon and to have some type of closure. And if she wants to have a relationship with her family or not, that doesn't matter at this point. We just want to know that she's fine, healthy, and okay.
Right. That's all we ask for, to make sure you're fine, healthy, and okay.
And I'm going to slide toward, and one thing I see, April says, Shank, you have done content on Caucasians. Yes. Joe Clark, your boy Trump, is the prime example of that. And let me just say this. I have daughters. And when it comes to my daughter's relationships. You know, as long as the jokers that my daughters are involved with, as long as they ain't putting their hands on my daughters, I keep my mouth shut. I keep my mouth shut. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Several reasons why I keep my mouth shut. The main reason why I keep my mouth shut is because my daughters are grown. You know what I mean? My daughters are grown. And I'm going to say this, and I'm sure y'all going to take it however y'all want to take it. But those that know, they know what I'm saying. Let me explain something to y'all. All right. As when it comes to females, as much as we may want to put them in a category where they're so innocent, where they're so precious. Now, as babies, as little baby girls, yes, they're innocent. Yes, they're precious. But just like men, just like at a certain age, we become cold-hearted. And at a certain age, you know, we start to do our thing. These females get cold-hearted as well. These females start to do their thing as well. And I love my daughters to death, and they'll tell you. But I know that my daughters are grown. And trust me, if any of my daughters was in a situation with any man, and if the man was, you know, treating them poorly, if the man was forcing them to do things, my daughter's going to come to me. You know what I mean? So in this case with Joycelyn, why wouldn't she go to her father? Listen to me. It's the same way with Sparkle. When Sparkle tried to lie and say that R. Kelly told her mother and her father, your daughter is so beautiful. Every time I look at her, I jack off. Listen to me. Listen to me. That's a bold-faced lie. No man, I don't care the race, I don't care the size, no man is going to allow another man to disrespect their daughter. No man. Now, if the situation was like, okay, now let me give you let me go to another perspective. All right. And I'm sure all the fellas that's in the chat and on the replay gang can back me up on this. Men, okay? You got all kind of men. You got all types of men. But when it comes to our daughters, we ain't playing about our daughters. We ain't playing about our daughters. We will go to the penitentiary behind our daughters. We will lose our lives behind our daughters. Look, behind my daughter, nobody can tell me nothing. Period. If it get there. If it get there. My question is for Pops. My question is for him. Yo, you know what type of person R. Kelly is. You knew what type of person R. Kelly was. You being honest about that when I told my dad jump up over my sister. Come on. But it was a money grab. Bruh, keep it 100 with me. Now, let's go to this video of Joycelyn. And y'all let me know if y'all believe it's AI.
We love you from your parents and from family. Thank you.
I seen the video earlier today that was surfing around on the internet of our daughter Joycelyn.
Let me grab it, y'all. I see you, Miss Minnie. Salute, Miss Minnie. That ain't the one. All right. I think I got it, y'all. Oh, that's the parents.
Here shortly to let you guys know that I am not a victim. I've been with Robert for 10.
All right, now y'all let me know whether or not this is a AI. And make sure y'all subscribe to Miss Minnie's coupons. Miss Minnie can save y'all a lot of money. Miss Minnie does coupons. So y'all go ahead and swing over there to Miss Minnie's coupons channel and save some money. Mel says, if R. Kelly has been locked up for 6 years, why haven't Joycelyn called her parents? Exactly. Central casting and AI is all around us. Salute, Michelle. CRS says, salute. I see you. Salute, y'all. All right, y'all tell me if y'all think this is AI. I don't think it's AI. Y'all tell me, because her parents seem to believe that this is AI.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joycelyn Savage. I'm 29 years old, and I'll be 30 next month. I just want to come out here shortly to let you guys know that I am not a victim. I've been with Robert for 10 years. He has been incarcerated for 6 years, and I have seen him every weekend for the past 6 years. Just 3 years ago, I proposed to Robert, and he said yes. And we are planning on getting married and having a family, and I'm very excited about that. But anyways, I just want to come out here and let you guys know to please do not believe the lies that my mother and father are coming out here saying about me and Robert. I am not held against my will. I am not a sex slave. I am not brainwashed or any of those crazy lies that were told on me. And I just want Robert to get the righteous justice that he deserves, because he deserves to be free. Enough is enough. I'm tired, and he's tired as well. So I just want you guys to continue to please pray for him. I'm praying for him. I believe that he will be out soon. I have hope. And just, you guys, please just do not believe the lies, because enough is enough. It's been 6 years, and I'm just tired. I choose not to call my mother and father because I do not want to talk to them. I have a cell phone, and I choose not to call them. So I'm a grown woman, and if I decide not to call them, that's my choice. And
Let's keep it right there, y'all. Let me read some chats. Sasha says, it sounds kind of scripted though, Shank. I see you, J-Rock. J-Rock says, if this is AI, why was this AI not released sooner? Teresa says, these dialects knew damn well their daughter is not AI. I see you, Shelly. Salute, Shelly. I don't think it's AI, y'all. If she's a sex slave, who is the overseer if Kels is in prison? Exactly. Now, back to what Sasha says. It sounds scripted. How many of y'all think that it could be scripted? To me, I just think that that's her, keeping it real, letting the world know, over the years, especially in the music industry, how many parents use their children? Huh? How many parents use their children? Parents will pimp the hell out of their children. It's been going on since the beginning of time. Like she said, she's grown. Like I said, I got daughters. My daughters is grown, you know, and I know what it is. If my daughters is with a younger dude, if my daughters is with an older dude, no matter who my daughters is with, ain't nothing I could do. Ain't nothing I could say. Now, let's go deeper into R. Kelly. As I said before on previous demonstrations, in my opinion, R. Kelly is not a criminal. All right? He's not a criminal. R. Kelly is a player. He's a player that got caught. He's a player, and it happens to the majority of us men. It happens to the majority of us men. And is it wrong for a man to have multiple women? It's not wrong for a man to have multiple women. It's not. However, okay, if the man is misleading the women, ladies, what do y'all always say? Keep it real with us. Women always tell this to us men. Just be real. Let me know that I'm not the only woman. Let me decide whether or not I want to be a part of what you got going on. Don't lie to me. Why do y'all men gotta lie and make it seem like I'm the only woman? Just be honest. That's what women always say. For as long as I've been around, for as long as I've been in the game, women always say that. Just keep it real. Correct? R. Kelly kept it real. I don't know how much more realer you can get. R. Kelly, and I'm going to come down to the chat. R. Kelly kept it so real that R. Kelly provided a lifestyle for all of these women. All these women, they would come up. Whether it was being at the bottom and just being in his present and, you know, he taking care of them, or if their music careers would take off because of R. Kelly's influence, because of R. Kelly's name being stamped on the project. R. Kelly ain't lied to none of them women. R. Kelly ain't lied to none of them women. R. Kelly ain't had any of them women thinking that they was the only woman. Even Drea knew what's the motion. Remember when I read the beginning of the testimony, right? When Drea claims that she ain't had no dealings with Lisa Van Allen, remember? But that videotape that Lisa Van Allen turned over, Lisa Van Allen and Drea was on that tape in the threesome act with R. Kelly. Yes or no? Drea lied. So the point that I'm trying to make is this. R. Kelly didn't lie to none of them women. He ain't lied to none of them women. But as everything played out, we see how many of them women lied about R. Kelly. Ladies, y'all cannot get mad. You cannot get mad if you choose to be on a team. You cannot get mad if you choose to be a part of a stable. You can't. And that's why in the beginning, they were going along with it until Sparkle got in her feelings. When Sparkle got in her feelings, Sparkle set out. Sparkle set out to bring it down because Sparkle didn't get what she thought she was going to get. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Like I said, you got women on this side of the track. You got women on this side of the track. The women that's on the right side of the track, y'all not going to get tangled up in none of this. Yes or no? A virtuous woman, a God-fearing woman, an independent woman, a single mother, a woman with morals and values and principles. Those type of women are on the right side of the track. They ain't gonna get caught up with R. Kelly. Yes or no? Now the skeezers, the gold diggers, the 304s, the choosy Susies, them funky ass hoes, they the ones on the left side of the track. A God-fearing woman wouldn't get involved with R. Kelly. An independent woman, a strong woman, a woman that got it going on, a woman that's on her A game, she ain't getting involved with R. Kelly. Only those skeezers, only those funky ass hoes, only the gold diggers. And for all of the ladies that's on the right side of the track, y'all wouldn't have no skeezers, no gold diggers, no funky ass hoes. Y'all wouldn't have them type women as y'all friends. Yes or no? Why you don't hang with so-and-so no more? She a hoe. She sleep around. I can't be hanging with no female like that. Wasn't that? Ain't that how y'all talk, ladies? Y'all find out a female that y'all been dealing with, a friend of y'all, and y'all find out that she on the left side of the track. Y'all gonna stop hanging with her. So why are we giving Sparkle? Why are we giving Cassie? Why are we giving these funky ass hoes passes? Seriously. Now let's keep it 100. I remember at one time, y'all wouldn't even date jailbirds. Jailbirds was off the my mother, my aunts and them, they would never date a jailbird. So now all of a sudden, why we have lowered our standards? Why do we take up for folks that don't need to be taken up? I'm just asking. I'm asking. All of those women that were involved with R. Kelly, all of those women was hoes. Some of them were smart hoes. Some of them was good hoes. Some of them was funky ass hoes. It is what it is. They were a part of a stable. They were a part of a team. They knew what it was. They knew who R. Kelly was. They knew R. Kelly, all those women that was in their house, that was living in their house. They knew it. They ain't had no problem with it because they understood the assignment. They understood the assignment. It's only when it's only when folks that's not in the game, it's only when they get in the mix and they trying to bring down people that's in the game. That's when it all get jacked up and messed up. Azriel, and I'm going to go to that. Azriel mentioned that R. Kelly was coaching them. And I seen Gayle King ride that narrative to the grave. You mean to tell me he was coaching you? Let me explain something to y'all. I coach any females that I'm with. If I'm in a relationship with one female, y'all do know what coaching means. See, we allow folks to take words and we allow folks to twist the narrative. We allow folks to twist the meaning and make anything that we got going on. We allow folks to twist it and make it seem like it's demonic. I'm going to start with voodoo. I'm going to start with black magic. Let's just start right there. Why when we do sorceries and why when we perform voodoo and black magic, why is it so evil? But other folks perform black magic. Harry Potter, I think they called them Harry Potter. Harry Potter was sorcery. That was sorcery work. But he got glorified. So we dealing with coaching. They made coaching seem like a bad name. Well, don't your sons and daughters, when they're on these teams, don't they have coaches? I'm just saying. I see you, Audra. And I'm going to drop the link because I can't get to everybody's comment. So if anybody want to join me on a panel, it will just make it more easier for me. I'm going to drop the link. Feel free to hit the panel. It would just make it more easy for me. All right? Or y'all can just remain in the chat. Let me backtrack some of.
Not to call my mother and father because I do not want to talk to them. I have a cell phone and I choose not to call them. So I'm a grown woman, and if I decide not to call them, that's my choice. And it is what it is. So once again, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm in love and I'm good. So thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
All right. Now I'm gonna switch lanes to Azriel. Give me a second. And like I said, that's all we're dealing with. We're dealing with females that's on the left side of the track. And we all know what comes with that territory. If you are a female and you are on the left side of the track, you get what you deserve. Same way for the fellas. We can't make no excuses for these females. And I'm so tired of the females that want to participate in the game. They want to participate in it. What the hell is this? Give me a minute, y'all. Salute, Mel.
Salute, Shank. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna speak on something that kind of would bring it a bigger perspective, right? So you have, say, we have all these female artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a producer pretty much first you may have a demo, you sing for them or you pay your demo. But when it comes to producers that's going to invest in you, I'm going to invest through your time, this. You have to also realize that even though there's a producer, there's also a record label, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so some labels go with the development deals. Okay, I give you a development contract because you don't really quite have it, but I can put you with somebody that can coach you, or you know what I mean? So you have
Right.
all your A&R people, you have people that's trying to give you a certain look when it comes to your clothes and this and that. And you have some of those producers say you got a voice, but you just really don't have what it takes to be a solo artist,
Right.
right? So I would say, well, these are women say, well, I just want to hang around anyway. You feel what I'm saying, right?
Right. I'm with you.
And then, and then you have artists that have it, but are not going to let the record labels change who they are, you know, change the way they dress, change their image. And so when I speak about those artists, those are the artists that saw the industry for what it was and walked away, right? They walked away with
Mm-hmm.
their dignity. I guess those are girls on the right side. Am I right? So those girls would be Shanice Wilson
Going
and
in and
Stacey
yeah,
Lattisaw,
you go ahead.
Stacey Lattisaw, Tracy Spencer. All those females had it, but they didn't want the industry to, they had their own style, the way they dress. But when the industry started changing, want to dress them like some of the artists that we see on TV, halfway clothes, thumbs up their butt, showing all their skin. Those artists refused to do that, so they walked away. Stacey Lattisaw refused to let the industry make up some fantasy relationship with her and Johnny Gill. So they were young, 16, 17. They walked away. They walked away from all of that. They had divorces. They had everything. They just refused to let the labels change them. So they walked away. So then you have your Sparkle who could sing, but she didn't have that je ne sais quoi to be a star. So she said, well, okay, well, I'm going to be the main girlfriend and I'm going to kick all the other ones out. All those girls that was hanging around R. Kelly, being taken care of, had free room and board, did whatever. They were there because they didn't have what it took to really, really be a star. Did he spend time, trying to develop or coach them? I'm quite sure he did, and I'm quite sure they got some demos somewhere in his repertoire. But they didn't have what the label wanted.
Right.
Now they could probably dress him, skimpy and all of that, but they didn't have it. So
And it's
if you look at those other artists that got it, they kind of went independent. Sierra,
right.
Jasmine Sullivan, Fantasia, they got it, but those are independent artists. They're not backing by no label because they refuse to change who they were.
Right.
And that's what we're dealing with all of these. That's dealing with Cassie. Cassie probably had a little voice, but we can't say anything else about Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy was very, very strict on his artists. They had to work out. They had to have a certain look. Cassie probably had a voice, but the reason why that other producer took her to Puff Daddy because she didn't have what the label wanted.
Right. Right. Right.
So she became the 304.
Right.
She was already there. Okay, go ahead, Shane.
So, and you're right. So now you coming in and you got this producer, R. Kelly. Now we know what R. Kelly can do. Everything that R. Kelly touches, platinum, bump gold. Everything that R. Kelly touches, platinum. Right? All right. Look, he the boss. And as I said it before, if you come fuck with Shank Rock, I'm the boss. If you go and fuck with Mel, if you go and mess with anybody, if you come to us for our help, we the boss. Let us do this. I have to tell people, let me do this. You know what I mean? And I've had to do this over the years. You know what I'm saying? On social media, off social media. A person come to me, Shank, I need you to help me with this. Shank, can you do this for me? Woody, woo, 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 woo. All right, I got this. And I'm putting what needs to be done. And here they come. And I'm like, let me do this. But along with me telling you, let me do this, I do got some requirements. And as I stated before, we talking about folks that's on the left side of the tracks. We're not talking about God-fearing men and women. We're not talking about virtuous women. We talking about game. We talking about players and hoes. None more, none less. They knew the assignment. R. Kelly was a player. R. Kelly was a major player. That's why the women was with him. None more, none less. It is what it is. His only crime is being a player. Now, if that's a crime, he's guilty as hell. He's guilty as hell if that's a crime, being a player. He got caught cheating on his wife. I can't get around that now. If that's a crime, he's guilty for cheating on his wife. That's what he was doing. But as Mel said, same way with Baby Oil Man, do y'all realize how many hours a day that they spend in the studio? Do y'all realize how much and what all goes into making these records? How in the hell they had time for all of that? But let me go back to an old clip because I want to build off of Ariel and I want to build off of Joycelyn. And as EM said, he admitted that. And that's what he said. He said, yes, I'm guilty of some things. I'm guilty of my relationships. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But as I say, and I'll keep saying it again, you got folks that's on the left side of the tracks. Folks that's on the right side of the tracks. When I was coming up, folks on the right side of the tracks didn't get in folks on the left side of the track business. Look, they chose that lifestyle. You on your own. Yes or no? Family members, when I was growing up, that was on the right side of the track, that was working a 9 to 5, doing what was supposed to have been doing. If you went on that left side of the track, they ain't come to your defense because you chose that lifestyle. That's what I'm leading to. They chose this lifestyle. Let me go to this clip, y'all, because I don't want to get too far gone.
The two women who live with R. Kelly are defending him and their relationship with him in the strongest terms. 21-year-old Azriel Clary and 23-year-old Joycelyn Savage told us they love Kelly, while their families claim he has brainwashed them.
In an interview you'll see only on CBS this morning, the two women told us there is nothing inappropriate about their arrangement with the 52-year-old singer.
Now, keep in mind, this was 6 years ago. Even though Azriel, 3 years later, she had a change of heart. Appreciate the membership, Love Jones. Appreciate the membership, Love Jones. Teresa says every hoe always wanted to be the number one chick. And that's facts. That's facts. When I had a stable, you know, when I had a team. And let me just drop this bombshell. I've had, I see you. So was R. Kelly not messing with little girls just like Jarvis? That's a conversation that we're definitely going to get into, Kenya. Was R. Kelly messing with underage girls? That's a conversation we're going to get into. How is it okay for real Kelly but not Jarvis to mess with kids? We're going to get into that, Kenya. Give me a minute.
What is your relationship, both of you, with R. Kelly?
We're with him. That's our relationship.
We're with him. Yeah, that's what it is.
And we're in a relationship with him.
Right.
You just said it.
A very.
I mean, what? Now, like I said, 3 years later, Azriel, she did change her messaging. She changed up, but she's telling you. Let me grab EJ real quick. I see you. If I had known then the old saying, the loudest will be the ones that break, bend, fold, and flip, and Azriel was the true example. That's gold digging Redbone. See, if we just call a spade, like I said, they were all in a relationship with R. Kelly. Nothing more, nothing less. Kenya, R. Kelly was definitely messing with minors 30 years ago, but the woman he was convicted of were not children. Correct, Kiki. So let's just deal with him messing with the underage children. Why wasn't he convicted? Come on in, Mel. I thought the whole R. Kelly thing was about little girls, underage girls, like Aaliyah was 15, right? Then the girl in the video looked like a baby. Come on in, Mel.
The first thing I'm going to address is the Leah thing. Now, what many people don't know is that Aaliyah didn't leave R. Kelly because of R. Kelly. Aaliyah left R. Kelly because she refused to have her uncle putting out that narrative of her being married and all of that. The same way the label tried to do with Stacey Lattisaw and Johnny Gill. Stacey let us. I walked away. She didn't want to be in all of that. Aaliyah left R. Kelly because she wanted a new sound.
Mm.
You know, he wrote the R&B smooth sound. She liked that, but she wanted a different sound. She fell in love with Missy and Timberland's double beats.
Mm.
So when you go back and look at her follow-up album that she did with Missy and Timberland, all of her music has double beats to it. So it gave her a little bit more freedom to dance, a little bit more freedom to be herself. So she left R. Kelly for a different sound. Not
Mm.
because of anything with him. She wanted a different style sound. And Missy Elliott and Timberland gave her that sound that she wanted. Um, and then when we talk about underage girls, and again, I'm from the old school. And as I spoke before, usually around 14, 15 girls begin to feel some type of way, you know, sexually, you know. That's why usually and I'm not saying everybody, so everybody in the chat don't attack. But usually around 15, they about a freshman in high school, they probably gonna have their first encounter with their first boyfriend. Because they're already there. That's why, you know, a lot of times these days, people say more like, oh my God, he was 30, she was 15, he was 25, she was 15. But the age, as far as that, it's not really a big deal because usually around 15, it is consensual. Now, parents can make a big deal and say, oh my God, this. And that is why Joycelyn ain't talking to her parents because they're trying to, oh, she brainwashed, oh, she this, oh, she's that, but it's not. And so most times around 15, girls are having some kind of encounter. Now, it might be with their first boyfriend at school, but I guarantee you, he probably 3 years older. He might already be a senior.
Right.
So that's why it's like that. Now, when it comes to Jarvis, if you Google it, 13 or younger, those are the no zone ages. They kind of left 14 out of there, but 13 or younger, yes, you know those are that's criminal. But
Mm-hmm.
use around 15, 16, 17. You know, Cassie was 19, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Cassie was a baby." No, she wasn't. She was a grown woman and already experienced. Her best friend even said it. So I think that's where the line kind of gets murky there, you know. But usually 15 on up, girls and boys are usually beginning to get into that, you know, that
Right.
stage where their bodies are changing. And anybody that making a law knows that.
Exactly. Let me let Kiki slide in, Mel. This Kiki first time on the panel. Come on in, Kiki.
Hey Shane, can you hear me?
Yes, you sound good. Come on.
Okay. So first off, because it looked like people in the chat getting upset with me, let me be clear and clarify what I was saying now. It's always an unpopular opinion with me. I'm gonna say what I feel, what I think, and that's what it is. My perception is my perception. Now,
Come on.
for the guy J Rock who said, or Jay Shane, whatever his name is, he asked, "What children am I talking about from 30 years ago?" Now, when R. Kelly's first case came out, I was like, wait, 5, 6 years old. Of course, I couldn't follow it. This last trial, I followed it thoroughly. I watched the video of him, or allegedly him, and the girl that he urinated on. To me, it looked like him, and she looked like a minor. I can't tell you who that was, but it looked like a minor. Now, the stuff with Aaliyah, what they came out with, it seemed like it was valid. And in my opinion, I think that he should have been convicted 30 years ago, like in that trial. However, and why ever he got released or whatever he did, they dropped the ball on it. So I don't feel that that should be held against him, whether it was true or not. They let him go. They said he was a free man. And for me, it's like maybe he could have changed, maybe he couldn't have. We don't know. I don't know that man personally. But what I do know is that this last trial, I followed it. Those women were adults. They were grown women, except for Azriel. And Azriel's mother signed her over to him. So at that point, what do? I can't be more mad at this man being with this teenager than her parents are. If they give her to him, then what are we to do? Like, I just feel like this last trial, he was definitely railroaded.
And let me just add on, Kiki. See, and it's still like that today, but especially back in the 40s, 50s to 60s, even the 70s, it was common for uh, 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 adult parents, grandparents to give a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old over to a man for marriage.
Yeah, and for the woman that come in and ask, why is it okay for R. Kelly and not for Jar? It's not okay for anybody for me. But you gotta look at for me it's how the kids come up, right? It's the household they come from. Jarvis' situation is completely different. That little girl was a baby. He was a full grown man. Now the stuff with R. Kelly, when you talking about okay, back in the day or whatever, 30 years ago, my question is, where were the parents? You talking about 15, 16-year-old girls being out 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning in the studio. I don't understand how that could be possible. Like my first boyfriend, he was 15 years older than me. I was 16, that man was 31. Nobody knew about it. My
Mm,
mama didn't know, my stepdaddy didn't know. I hid it from my friends. I had no business being with that man. I knew better, but at the end of the day, I still did what I did. When I turned 18, I was with him until I was 22, and I left him.
mm.
Now, I didn't sneak out the house. I was home by curfew. I went sneaking out the house late at night, but I knew if my parents found out about that, he would have been up under the jail. That's the difference when you talk about these other girls. Azriel, their parents were taking them to this man concert, trying to pawn them off. So it's not like okay, it's okay for R. Kelly, but it's not okay for Jarvis. That baby was what, 12, 13 years old when Jarvis started messing with her. 11. That's a child, like that's a baby. That's completely different from teenagers who are allowed to be out to the wee hours in the morning. It's completely different.
Come on in, J Rock. Well, come on, Mel. Come on, Mel.
I was just gonna say I totally agree with you, Kiki. And it was good to hear someone that came up that actually experienced that. By the time you're 15, you're feeling a certain way, and most guys that you look at are older because guys your age are weird or they don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's just human nature. And if you look at the average person, the average couple, if you look at their biography, when they say they've been married for 73 years, I guarantee you that husband's about 20 years older than that wife. It's just, so I think that I always thought that, these families were taking these girls to R. Kelly. The moms was going to the concerts, they all on the backstage pass, you know, trying to say, oh, my daughter can sing. And that's going back to what I said earlier. There are a lot of people that can sing, but you got to have just a certain thing about you to for a record label to invest in you. So they do give you these development deals. Here goes this person. And to be honest with you, that's what Sparkle was and everybody else. And that's what Cassie was to Puff Daddy. She was
Mm,
a developmental person. She was already with a producer.
mm.
But she didn't have what they needed. But she did some things that she probably did before she was with Puff Daddy to make herself relevant.
That's
And
right, Mel.
anybody that you right, and anybody that wasn't with that stuff, they walked away from the industry. They left because it's like it wasn't worth it.
Let me let J Rock slide in, Mel. Come on in, J Rock.
Shank, what's good, man?
Good to have you, brother.
Oh, good to have you. What's happening, Mel? And how you doing, Kiki?
Hey,
I'm
J-Rock.
well in you.
All right. And shout out to everybody in the chat. You know, the funny part about this is almost like I feel like Al Pacino in Carlito's Way. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me right back in. And now I gotta come up in here and bring up some point. I agree with a lot of what Kiki said in regards to it. My only trepidation was when they talk about the minor part. Here's the funny part about it. When it comes to minors in regards to R. Kelly, there's two questions you got to ask yourself. Number one, if R. Kelly was really into minors like people say, why didn't he go after the younger sister of Joycelyn and not Joycelyn? Number two, if he's really into minors, why did all the so-called minors lie about their age? Because I know somebody that works in sociology in California, and he's already told me that, you know, a pedo likes what it likes. He likes what he likes. He doesn't change. There's no such thing as a part-time pedo.
That's true.
So if that's the case, then tell me where are the other minors that they're talking about? And then the funny part is people always go to the car and talk about, well, he always told us what he was all about because you listen to the lyrics in this song. You always kind of tell us what he's about. And people always like to play this little lyric game when it comes to R. Kelly, but they like to cherry pick what lyrics to use. So I got a lyric for you just in case. In one of his songs, he stated, "And if you don't have a curfew, keep it real and we'll be cool. And if your ID's up to age, you're going to get some 12 play." In case you don't remember where that song came from, that was from the song "Used to Me Spending," which was a continuation of Biggie's "Fucking You Tonight," which was on the In Too Deep soundtrack, the same In Too Deep, that movie that starred Omar Epps, LL Cool J, and Nia Long. He's always been saying that about the women that he deal with, be of age. But it's funny how people like to cherry pick lyrics to try to turn around and try to condemn this man based on something that they believe rumors been running around for all these years. And as far as the Leah marriage is concerned, if you take a look at the marriage certificate, neither signature didn't match Leah or R. Kelly's actual handwriting.
Her uncle fabricated that because he wanted to play this. Sell albums, sell this. Let's fabricate this. And all that was fabricated. The same way the label tried to put Stacey Letter Saw with Johnny Gill. And it was, it caused a really good artist to walk away from the business because they wasn't trying to play those games right there. Because she was like 16. I think Johnny Gill was like 20-something.
Come on then, Kiki.
J-Rock, I agree, and I was going to hit on, a few of those girls lying about their ages. It's not that I'm just sitting here trying to vilify this man, because I don't know anything firsthand. I'm just going off of everything that I'm seeing, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And for the women in the chat, Kenya, I understand exactly what you're saying. No, I don't feel like there's good pedos and bad. All of them the same. If you take advantage of a child, you hurt a child, at the end of the day, I feel like you should be prosecuted. But I also feel like you should be prosecuted for the things that you've done. I just don't feel like this last case, they had any substantial evidence against that man. Those women were grown. They were upset. They wasn't locked down. They left as they pleased. One woman left her, she admitted. She left her kids home, left her daughter to take care of the little kids. She would send Uber Eats to the house for them to eat. She would go and visit them once or twice a month. That was their choice. The lady Kid, or whatever her name, the DJ, she admitted this man, she said he made her pretty much turn into a lesbian. No, baby, you ate that cat because you wanted to. This is something you wanted to do. Yep. We can't just sit up here and just say because they got upset because he discarded them or stopped giving them money that they were victims. They were not. This is something they chose to do.
They wasn't. And look at all the innocent men and women that spent 30, 40, some of them 50, 60 years in prison for a crime that they didn't do. And I remember back in the 80s and 90s, People used to say, I'm innocent, and people would not listen to them. And people would say, you in jail, you belong in jail, you supposed to be in jail. But look now, all those people, now they were falsely accused, falsely imprisoned. If you know what I mean? So with R. Kelly, yes, if you're going to get him with something, get him with what he done. Don't get him on no BS. It's the same way with Baby Oil Man. You mean to tell me racketeering, running a continuously criminal enterprise, and all they could do was show that baby oil, and all they could do was talk about these freak offs? If you got R. Kelly, make sure you got him on something that he done. Imagine you being locked up. Imagine you get 30 years on some ish that you just didn't do. Yo, if it's my charge, I take it. I ain't got no problem with taking my charge, but I can't take a charge that ain't mine. Somebody come in. Come on, J Rock or Kiki.
And Shake. And you know what? And Kiki, I agree with a lot of the points Kiki just said. And I'm even piggyback on a point that she mentioned when she said all the women that he was dealing with were of age and grown. I'm gonna prove that point to you. There's a guy, attorney who worked with the NAACP by the name of Gerald Griggs. Gerald Griggs went to Jamal Bryant's church. Gerald Griggs went to that church. And said that when the Savages came to their house, came to his office, and said they was having issues with their daughter, and he was thinking, I was wondering, how can I help? Because the first thing we had to find out is if these women were of age or older when we met them. So then when we found out that they were of age and older, we faced the whole gambit of legal issues. What legal issues are you going to face if there were no underage girls, if there was no minors? So he then said we had to take a quote unquote outside the box approach. We had to change the narrative around this individual. Why do you have to change the narrative around something that's supposed to be true? Either it's true or it's not. So that alone so the definition of that tells me you were involved in some underhanded scheming. You were involved in some underhand scheming situation to actually try to gain some type of conviction or change the perception of public opinion. He said himself, you had to change the narrative around the individual. You don't have to change the narrative around anything. It's something that's already true.
Come on there, Audra.
How y'all doing?
Good.
It's Saturday. It's good. I want to maybe like introduce myself a little bit too. Y'all don't know, we don't know each other, right? Personally, I don't know y'all, but I was raised in the church, right? Like most people, but for it's like everyone in my family, I was the one that had to go. If nobody else went, I still had to go. Even if my eldest brother drove me at 16, I was the one that went. I was the one that they sheltered. Everyone sheltered. They expected the best of me, They protected me. Even till this day, I try to do everything right. Like I've always done everything right. And for me to have been to prison, to get charged, to go through all the stuff that I had to go through, and then it was corrupt. It wasn't I actually said I felt betrayed. I felt betrayed by law enforcement. I didn't keep up with the the trial with OJ, and even now as an adult, as someone that understands the system, how it works, understands this country, how racism works, how systematic slavery, how it works. Now, I don't even think OJ did it, you know, because yes, he looked guilty when he got in that truck. But if we go back and we look at that case, and we look at the evidence, what if someone had already scared him, had already told him this was going to happen and we're going to put it on you? So, with my situation, I can't, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you guys the horrors of when you're going through a corrupt system. Like, look at the Diddy case now. Now they're saying they're trying to bring something to him in DC out of District of Columbia, right? So that registers in my mind, well, they can't get him in New York, so they're gonna bring something else. So they're gonna, they're just gonna keep coming, keep coming. And I think a lot of people are aware of the different overdoses and different deaths that have occurred in Hollywood, you know, and it doesn't seem right. It doesn't add up, right? And Diddy being someone who is technically a junkie, right? You would think it would be easy to mess him up. But then that tells me he's got some loyal people on his team that haven't slipped him the wrong kind of drug, the right dose of fentanyl and you gone, you know? So he must have some people around him that really love him. And I think it is really right what this attorney said. He takes care of a lot of people. He's a good person. He's a good person. Even though, yeah, he made that mistake. He did her like that, right? But I've seen a lot worse. Two women fighting have done a lot worse, to each other. When you get chastised by your parents, you've seen a lot worse. Those who got spankings, beatings, whippings as a child. But I'm saying this because this is all triggering for me. I've followed other cases, like loosely followed some local cases, loosely followed the Bill Cosby case, but what really kind of drug me in was the R. Kelly case because of YouTube. I didn't know anything about panels, and I would just go on YouTube and watch a video on something, a special recipe or anything. But when I saw, okay, these are open panels, people are dropping the link, I had never seen that before, you know? And then you guys are reading the transcripts, and so I'm familiar with that because I took my case to trial. I'm familiar with case law and our due process rights and so forth. So I got kind of brought into it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me just because I got a full panel. Let's just try to stay on topic as far as what's going on with R. Kelly. All right. I'm gonna go to Dana J, but then I'm gonna let you get back in. Slide in, Dana. I hear you, Audrey. Come on, Dana.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that's on the panel real quick. How y'all doing?
What's up, Dana?
I just caught the tail end. What's going on? I just caught the tail end of everything, and I'm just like, man, like this is really like I'm glad that somebody else in another sector is really, shining light on it, and because it gets kind of redundant when I'm doing it. But on the flip side of it, I want to hear other people's stories. I want to hear everything. But now the thing about baby old man, me and my brother Shank, and we go at it all the time, off of record. Me and Shank talk about it all the time. Shank be like, hold on, I'm gonna give you this angle. And then I'm like, hold on, I'm gonna give you this angle. Here's what I got to say. Robert was the prototype. But before the prototype, there was another prototype by the name of Ern Hall. And when nobody really paid attention to Ern Hall, they had to come back with another industry prototype, which was Robert Kelly. And what people don't understand is, I understand how people say Robert did this, Robert did that. Well, understand my position. If you saying Robert a pedophile, where did you get your PhD from? Because anytime the judge and the person that's legally being paid to diagnose people are both saying he's not a pedophile, who are you to say he's a pedophile? But Shank, I'm gonna yield my time because I'm switching devices, but I'm gonna get off here and I'm jumping right back on. Then I'm gonna come back and really go in.
All right, slide in Kiki, and at the Kiki, I'm gonna run. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask him a question, but he's gone now. So
he gonna come back up. While we wait for Dana to come back up, let me run this old clip of Azriel.
Strong relationship as
Both
well.
of you.
Yes, most definitely.
You know, how do we say this without being inappropriate? Is this a three-way relationship, or do you each have a separate relationship with him? How does this work?
Now, before I let it finish, I gotta ride down on Gayle King because see, Gayle King is one of those funky ass haters. I gotta put it in its proper perspective. First of all, why are you all in their business? And I'm gonna tell y'all, I've seen and I've dealt with Gayle King women all my life. I've dealt with these type of women. They'll tell other women, nah, I wouldn't mess with Shank Rock if I was you. I heard Shank Rock was this. Shank Rock is a womanizer. What you see in Shank Rock? And then turn around and be in Shank Rock's bed. True story. I can promise y'all, if Gayle King's funky ass had an opportunity to be on Robert's team, Gayle King's funky ass would have been front and center. I promise y'all. I see you, Lil Mac and Dana. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna come back to y'all. Let me finish on Gayle King's funky ass. Give me a minute, y'all.
Well, both
I'm
of
curious.
those.
Yeah.
We both have our individual relationships with him, and we all are family all together. We have our moments where we sit and watch movies all together. We go to amusement parks all together.
Like, what more do you want from them, Gayle? Appreciate the super chat, Miss T. Shank, you're doing a great job. What more do you want from them, Gayle? Gayle is one of those funky ass old timers who her days is over with, and we know what those funky ass old timers do. When the young folks are coming up and the young folks are doing their thing, those funky ass old timers always try to throw a wrench, in your program. Well, see, I wouldn't do that. But Gayle, your funky ass, I promise y'all, your funky ass would have been on Robert's team. I know you would have. I ain't finished. Give me a minute. I'm going to come back to the panel. Give me a minute.
I'm not talking about Azriel going to movies and sitting watching, going to parks. I'm talking about, is it a three-way sexual relationship?
Sexually? Well, first of all, I'm not here to talk about my personal life. Okay. And I would never share with no one what I do in or outside of the bedroom.
Bingo. Now, but Shank, Azriel, she said that R. Kelly coached her. What did I break the word down earlier in this demonstration? Coaching someone is not a bad terminology. He got a squad of women. You damn right he gonna let her know. Look, when they come at you like this, look, this is what you say. Woo-de-woo-woo-woo-woo. Why do y'all try to make? Why do y'all try to take and twist this all around? I'm gonna say it again. R. Kelly, if he's guilty of anything, he's guilty of cheating on his wife. If he's guilty of anything, and he said it, was y'all listening to R. Kelly? Dana J and the rest of y'all can help me out. He said it. He said, I did apologize. He said, yes, I'm guilty of some things, and I did apologize. He says, I'm guilty of my relationships. And just like Baby Oil Man, the same thing they did with R. Kelly, they took it and they ran with it. Give me 1 more minute, y'all, and I'm going to come back to my panel.
And as a woman, I'm sure you would not either.
No, I wouldn't, but I...
See how she got her, see how she banged her as a woman. I'm sure you wouldn't have did it. And what did Gayle say? well, yeah, as a woman, but then Gail tried to come back. She tried to come back and flip the script. Dana J, let me get Lil Mac in. Salute Lil Mac. Come on, Lil Mac. While we wait on Lil Mac, come on, Dana J.
Well, you know, I'm always up for the task. I don't like kale either. You know, that's the reason why I don't even eat kale no more, because of her. But as we saying, they have an agenda, and their agenda is to demasculate the indigenous man. Their whole job is to make us look like we're bad. And what people don't know is Dream Hampton and Oprah, along with Kale, along with Tamara Simmons, they was trying to do a surviving JD. And that's why Tamara Simmons is no longer in Atlanta, because, you know, certain people you ain't gonna play with like that.
Right.
And JD got them undisclosed hitters, so they start pulling up on people. And all of this came from JD's TV show, and they wanted to try to exploit that and then flip that and then try to make JD a bad person. But that Azriel is the Azriel before she went to Vegas in New York. I meant Vegas in LA, and to meet with 1.6 the Rat King. So that's the Azriel that Robert was used to. After Tasha K and all them and got involved and gave everything, and Larry did what he did and flipped her, Robert was like, I don't know nothing about this lady right there. And when I'm gonna do, Shank, I'm about to send you the whole thing of the TV show Presidents. That's gonna say a lot too.
Let me let Lil Mac slide in. I got a full pack.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, come on, Lil Mac. Come on.
Okay. It was a bad thing on my end, but I just want to say this, man. Thank you for having me on.
Now, Lil Mac, tell the truth, yo. You got them Walmart situations, like, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all for having me on, man. I've been following this since 2019, and then, you know, everybody been a fan of R. Kelly, man, for forever. And then, like, if you just look at it from the factual side and take your feelings out of it, it's clear as day that everything that everybody been saying is leaning more towards R. Kelly's innocence. For instance, everybody keeps saying he like these minors. Minor this, minor that. I'm gonna run down some of the women that was in Surviving R. Kelly and some of the women that he dated. And I see you got Joycelyn Savage on the thumbnail. For instance, Joycelyn Savage was 19 years old when she met R. Kelly. She's 29 now. She's a year younger than me. I'm 30. She's an adult. Okay, then you want to go to Azriel Clary. Azriel Clary's mother, you know what I'm saying, coerced her daughter into dating R. Kelly. At the time, she thought she was 18, but she actually she was 17. She lied to him about her age, so he sent her back home. When she turned 18, she came back. Okay, then we've been talking about Drea Kelly. Drea Kelly was a 20-year-old dancer for R. Kelly. She was of age. Santi McGee, I don't think he even had a relationship, or she was a grown 30-year-old woman. The Lizette Martinez was 18. All these women, they keep talking about R. Kelly like minors and all this and that. All these women was of age, and they keep saying pedo. If he's a pedo, then I'm sorry. If he's the P word. None of these women was under the age of 14. All these women was of age and of grown. Like, where are the minors at? And then if the ones that saying that was underage, they either lie about the age, like the Geronda Pace young lady. She lied about her age. So either they lied about the age or they was of age. But I'll yield back, and I just want to say that though, for everybody keep saying, oh, he like underage girls, he like underage girls. What underage girls is?
You right, Lil Mac. Come on, Mel.
I wanted to kind of like go back to Gail. First of all, the interview that she did with R. Kelly, I hate that interview, but if we think about Gail, Gail left her husband for fame. Then she became a part of the machine that was used to spew out these negative images of blacks. She just was. But she's on Oprah team.
And her husband is also not from here. So she might hate black men, at least FBA men too. We got to keep that in mind.
Well, yeah, okay. But so she's a part of that machine. Like, this person may be people favorite content creator, but Tisa, all of them that's out there, and it's you're a content creator now. I'm gonna be on Nancy Grace. I'm gonna be on ABC because you are helping that narrative of what the Fed put out on Kelly and Diddy. You guys are amplifying that.
Just like
But
Tisa tells Tasha K, all of them. Yeah.
Come on, Kiki.
Well, I don't know anything about Gail, so I mean, but Dana, I do have a question for you. Okay. Before you got off the first time, you said that if we're not doctors or a judge or anything, we can't classify people as being the P word or whatever. I want to know, does that only apply for you to R. Kelly or in general? Because yeah, I mean, if you show certain characteristics, I'm gonna call you what I think you are. Listen, I'm gonna say exactly what I think you are. Not saying that this is what I think R. Kelly is. However, if you show me signs of being a duck, I'm gonna call you a duck. So are you saying that we just shouldn't label people because we're not degreed to do so or certified to do so?
Okay, I'm glad you asked me that. Kiki. You know what, man? Kiki get to really talk without going at it. Okay, cool. I'm glad you asked me that, Kiki. Because here's the thing. The reason why I say you can't do it is one, because legally you can get sued for that. That's first thing. Two, morally it's incorrect. Three, ethically is incorrect. That's just like, and I hope nobody get mad. That's just like me getting up on here and say, Kiki, and you look like a B. Or Kiki, you act like a B. Or Kiki, you're a B because of the way you act. That's disrespectful.
But you could be correct in some instances.
Listen though, listen. So why should we put a label on somebody, one, that you don't know? Two, you only going by it because of hearsay. And three, because other folks in the culture said, oh, that's what he is. That they don't even know him. Versus somebody that know him is telling you that's not what it is. That's just like, but I'm gonna give you another example, Kiki. You know Shane. I know Shane. That's just like a content creator getting on here and saying Shank Rock is a transsexual. And I just sit back and not say nothing. That's hypocritical because I know him. I mean, like, know him like that. So therefore, how can I be smiling in my brother's face? We talk just about every day, if not every other day, at least 4 times a day. How can I say I'm my brother's keeper or I'm my sister's keeper when somebody's dogging you, but I know you and I don't say nothing? The real whole thing of it is, it just don't look right because it continues a cycle of lies that other people catch and run with it.
So Dana, I gotta interject.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. And a lie spreads quicker than the truth. And you will spend most of your life defending a lie instead of walking in the truth.
Absolutely, Dana. Absolutely.
You're right, but I missed your first 2 points. People keep calling my phone, but you're right. But you have to think about it now. When you put yourself in a certain position,
Mm-hmm.
like R. Kelly
Mm-hmm.
or Baby Oil Man, Shank, even when you put yourself out there, you are subjected to a whole bunch of criticism. You like, hey, you can't fight the world. Of course, you're gonna want to defend your name, but lies may be told. Sometimes the truth can get put out there. But just like you said, you know, Shank. We as viewers, we're going off of things that we see, and if it makes sense to us, that's what's going to be embedded in our heads. That's just like saying, okay, y'all shouldn't listen to everything that you see on the internet. That's true. Those are facts. However, what's the purpose of getting on the internet then? If we're to believe that everything that we see and hear are lies, then what's the purpose of even looking at any of it? So I wouldn't sit up and just look at, okay, I see a topic or a title, a headline saying this person is that way. If I don't see anything that would give me proof that I feel is proof or worthy of me saying, yeah, this man is a pedo, or this man is a narcissist, or this woman is she's what she is. If I don't see anything that's going to validate that, then no, I'm not going to just go around and just label you as that. But what are we as viewers who do not know these people? We don't know them personally. We don't know their characteristics. We don't know what they're like on a day to day. These are things that we're seeing and the evidence or proof that's being put out to us. So you
I'm
can't
glad
blame
you
us
said that.
for.
I'm glad you said that, Kiki. I'm glad you said that. We
But
are.
the thing about
Oh,
R. Kelly,
wait,
his story.
wait. I'm about to snag in the bag right here. I'm glad you said that. You said we are viewers that don't know him. We going by what we see. So now I'm gonna ask you this, Kiki, and look, and I'm about to bite the bullet. This only gonna happen one time on the Shank Rock Show. When have you seen Baby Old Man? When have you seen Baby Old Man essaying any underage girls or even being around underage girls, except for the Caucasian little girl that he had on him? Now watch this. When have you ever seen R. Kelly with an underage girl sexually, period?
Okay, well, as far as Baby Oil Man, I hold the right to reserve my opinion on him until I hear this verdict, because I am a bit I would say I wouldn't even judge him fairly after seeing that video. Even following his case, I don't feel like those women are victims. Like the Jane Doe, I don't feel like she was a victim. I
But
feel
you feel
like
like
she
R.
did,
Kelly,
she played,
but
huh?
but you feel like Azriel and them are victims?
No, I mean the thing about Azriel, that's a touchy situation because at the end of the day, regardless of how we look at it, Azriel was a minor. Even though her
Oh,
mother,
oh,
hold
oh.
on, wait a minute. She
Was
was
she?
up under 18. She was up
Was
under
she?
18.
Watch
She
this.
was up under 18.
Watch this. Watch this. Here's where the conflict of interest come in at. And you know I'm a realist, just like you, Kiki. Here's where the conflict of interest come in at. You saying that she was under 18. Can you give me proof that he slept with her when she was 17?
No, no, I cannot. But allow me to finish. The thing I said, it gets sticky with Azriel because she was a minor. Not saying what happened with them. We don't know what happened with none of them, to tell you the truth. When they started, when they stopped, we don't know. We weren't in the rooms.
That's what
It
I'm talking
gets
about. Shut your
sticky.
mouth and
It
keep on
gets
talking, Kiki.
sticky with me for Azriel because of the position she was placed in, not by R. Kelly, but her parents. Things get difficult when you're talking about uh children and their parents. So yes, it gets sticky for me when you're talking about Azriel, because we don't know what her parents were telling her. We don't know how she was pushed. We don't know what was put in her head. I don't know. I can't say. But for the other ones, I don't feel as if any of them in this last trial were victims. I don't.
So watch this, Kiki. And you said that Azriel and was under 18, right?
She was under 18.
But you know 16 is legal, right?
16 is very much so legal, but is it
Not in
morally
Florida.
right?
Not in
Is it
Florida.
morally right?
In Florida, let's keep it real. In Florida, 15 is
18.
legal.
No,
You
it's
are. I
18.
live in
I
Florida,
live
and
in Florida.
15 is legal.
Thank you.
And I've been
Not
in Florida since I was born, all the way back in
See
1965.
that's
not for
where the
human trafficking. Not for human trafficking. I pulled up the statutes on it.
There's
But
no
there was
that
no
what
human
that what the laws
trafficking.
get tricky. That what the laws get tricky at right there.
thank you.
Because
Well, let's
in
not even
some in
talk
diff-
about legalities. Let's be real here. Let's talk about maturity. At the end of the day, a man is considered legal at what? You would say at 18, your mama tell you you're grown, but you ain't grown while you in my house. But most men don't hit their mature stage until what age? I know some of them, they got to be 33, 34, 35 before they even halfway considered to be mature. Like at the end of the day, I wouldn't care if the law stated that at 16 years old, at 15 years old, you're legal to consent to sex. And like I said earlier, I've experienced this myself. I was 16, 3 months away from turning 17 when I lost my virginity. That man was 31 years old.
And you loved every moment of
Mentally,
it, didn't you?
I mean, at the end of the day, it was wrong, but hey, I ain't leaving until I was 22. But listen, let me finish my point. When I left him at 22 years old, I knew things that I would have never imagined knowing at 16 because I was a child. I had the mind of a child. I didn't know any better. Certain things I allowed because I wasn't mature enough to know better until I got to the age and the state of my life to
okay,
realize that
okay, let me
no.
can I answer that? Okay, you said you wasn't mature enough to know that you was in a relationship with him. But okay, let's say if a 16-year-old
That's not what
boy.
I said.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for misquoting you, but let me say, let's say, for instance, a 16-year-old boy goes out into a convenience store and rob a 30-year-old man, shoots him. He gets charged as an adult. When he go to the court of law, they ain't gonna look at him like he was underage. He didn't know no better. They're gonna charge him as an adult. That's the same thing to me. That's why they make these age of consent laws. Because at that age, you at a mind frame, okay, you know what you're doing, what you ain't doing. Should a 16-year-old, 30-year-old man be dating a 16-year-old man, a woman? No. No, I don't agree with it. But by law, that's legal.
Dana,
But that's because going back to what she was
I got a
saying,
question for Dana
what she
J,
was
y'all, before he leaves.
what she was saying is that she was 16, he was 31. And now we're gonna go back to what Shank's been saying. Younger girls, by the time we reach that age of we feeling ourselves, we look at older men because usually the boys that's our age are not mature enough, to really deal with what we're feeling at that time. We most of the time we think they grow stupid, ugly, and all the other things that go with, you know. And then when you turn 22, what was going on with you then? When you turn 22, you begin to mature as a woman. You begin to learn things as you went through that relationship. So when you got to 22, you realize, you know what, this ain't what I want. And so you moved on. But you had to mature to the age. So as you each year you just learn, you matured. And then you got to an age where then you were matured enough to realize that as far as what you wanted in a relationship, he wasn't that. He wasn't it. So everything is just a mature, it's all through maturity.
Yeah.
But even though in your mind you knew you said you feel like it was wrong, but your body was telling you something else. That's when I go back to women, we as women begin to feel those feelings. We're usually around 15, 16, and the people that we deal with are usually older than we are. I digress.
Appreciate that super sticker, Miss T.
So Dana, did R. Kelly ever tell you that he was in a sexual relationship with Rashonda? Because you said on one of your lives that they had a special connection.
Okay. See, I tried to
And I
avoid.
want to say this first, really quick, before you answer, because I think everyone on the panel, they want to debunk the lies, right? We want to, because if we're going to sit up here and root for him, want him to be free, they want to know, are we protecting him, or do we really believe that he is 100% innocent? I believe, and I know for a fact that he is 100% innocent. And I speak on those three things: the marriage, the infamous marriage, the infamous P tape, and Azriel Clary. Those are the three things that got him convicted, whether y'all want to talk about it or not. So you said it. So I want you to tell us, since you know R. Kelly, did he ever tell you he was in a sexual relationship with Rashonda Landfair, the girl from the infamous P tape?
Well, let's go here. From the infamous P tape, Rashonda Landfair was not on the tape. That was not her on the infamous P tape. First,
okay, so I saw it. I saw it.
No. You asked me a question, and
you only show one picture. You only show one side dive in one picture.
Right?
Anybody watch that tape, they're gonna think it's her.
Okay.
Let them slide in.
I thought it was her.
Why do you always say that?
Let him
Wait,
let him
I
slide
just got
in.
a question for him. Why do you
He
always
trying to
say
answer
that?
it though.
Sit here and shut up, and before I eat you, slam up on
No,
him.
what I'm saying is he never
see, I
look
don't
at the
play when it
man.
comes to
He
stuff
never
like
say
this.
that that's
And I
not R.
don't play with
Kelly.
you.
Because you're a
I
federal
don't play
informant.
with you, and because
Now
you
go ahead.
platform playing around and with people
Federal
who I don't
informant,
play
you
with people
liar.
like
Go
you.
ahead, speak. I'm muted. Talk.
So don't play with me on here.
You the one on here playing. You playing with this man's life.
Hey, Audra, you know what? Go jump off a bridge, shorty.
Wait, do y'all?
Go ahead, Dana.
So, like I said, at the end of the day, what Rob do in his bedroom is his business. He don't gotta tell me who he sleep with. Did you tell the people how you hit the man in the back of his head and went to jail? No. It's certain things you don't talk about.
Tell us how you became a federal informant. How about that?
Prove that I'm informing, you stupid bitch.
Wait a minute, Shane, mute both of them because this is getting kind of ugly. Do y'all know each other?
At the end of the day, don't nobody got time for that crazy stuff. You jump from platform to platform, spreading lies, doing stuff like this. Yo, nobody even like you. Move on. Move around.
You're the one spreading lies. That's not him on the
Who? Move around, sweetie.
I'm gonna bring you back up, Audra, but you gotta. Here's the thing, y'all. For everybody that comes on the panel, all right. If you ask another panelist a question, you gotta let them answer the question. It's only fair. So go ahead, Dana.
Here's the backstory, Shank. Let's keep it real. She was put off of every panel on our side because she do stuff like this. And then she run back and tell me, oh, you this, oh, you that. And listen, I stopped even talking to her. That's why I didn't address her. I didn't speak to her. I didn't say nothing. People like that, and you got to be real leery about people like that because she's a real weirdo. A real weirdo. So with that being said, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, and she asked me a question. All right, I'm going to answer the question. For one, I done showed who it was on the P tape. I got Adelina Prado. I know her personally. I played the audio of me and Adelino Prado talking. And she was like, yo, I'm not a victim, this and this and this. At that point, she was 21 on the tape. Shank, I sent you the dark room pictures of when they was trying to put Rashonda's face on Adelina Prado. So at the end of the day, it's like, yo, people try to get information so they can run back to, oh yeah, Dana J said this, Dana J. Listen, I stand by my man $100,000. And for me to sit here and say, Rob is completely innocent, you don't know what's going on. I'm going to say this. He's innocent for the charges that was given to him. And for me to sit here and say Robert is an angel and he's a completely innocent man about everything in life, I'd be lying. Robert has lied to some chicks. We all has lied to some chicks. So ain't none of us completely innocent. None of us. Second of all, he was not just convicted of a P tape and of a Azriel. No. If you really want to know why Robert was convicted, it's because of a crooked justice system. But in order for him to get there, the same way that old man got there, the unsolicited co-conspirators that was hating on them went to the feds and said, look, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you that, I'll give you that. And certain things panned out. And Nicole Lee, I'm glad you asked me that. Dana J, are you Rashana baby daddy? Watch this. No. But here's where that came from, and I'm glad you asked, because I'm here. So here's where that came from. People kept saying that my son looked like Rashana. And I said, nah. So they kept running with it. So I said, I ain't gonna defend it no more. Me being me, I'm gonna go with it. So I said, yeah, I'm Rashana baby daddy, and I'm Ashanti McGee daughter baby daddy too. And them niggas ran with it like a firestorm. No, that's y'all dumbness. Because I told y'all no 3 times. Any other questions? I don't duck no smoke and no wreck. It's just certain people I do not talk to. And when you play with me, it is what it is. And I'm not going to let you come to my brother channel and play on my brother channel. I'm not going to let you do that because he wouldn't let nobody
Y'all
do it.
blood brothers? Shank, but you just heard him what he said, right? On his own channel, he said that R. Kelly was in a decade-long sexual relationship with Rashonda Landfair.
I never said
that.
that.
What she said at trial was true.
I never said that. That's a lie.
So tell us, what did you say on your live?
That's a lie. You go look at it. I don't.
So what did
my
you
videos.
mean when you said that he had a special connection with Rashonda?
So hold on.
He's his God. That he only said that's his goddaughter. That's it.
Watch this. I'm glad we here on the Shank Rock show because you just heard her lie on me publicly and then try to switch it. I rest my case. Ain't nothing more to talk about.
Let me bring it.
What about the marriage license? Why you don't talk about that? Debunking that.
And because you came into the game late, I have destroyed that from the beginning.
And no one pulled up that Aaliyah had sued Cook County. No one pulled up the marriage license and looked at it because you're a federal informant and you're out here to push a narrative.
Damn.
And you slip up and say the wrong things, and people like me are catching you and calling you out.
Damn, I'm a federal informant now.
Dabowski kept going live talking about what you said.
Damn,
he would have nothing to say if you didn't say that Rashonda was in a 10-year relationship with R. Kelly. That means he groomed her. It's what you're trying to say.
You work for the fans, Dana.
Shit, Shank. That's what I
him, Infamous Sylvia, Larry McGee. Yes, they all are.
Audra, I got other people on the panel. Let me bring Mel and Kiki in. Come on, Mel and Kiki.
Oh wow, this is a lot. Wow. I just have questions because I'm just listening to a lot of stuff and I got lost back about 30 minutes ago. So there's a lot of passion. Hey, there's a lot of passion here. And I just remember there's her name Audrey that came in and she began to introduce herself and talked about and she also talked about how she was a victim of the system, of a corrupt system, which it seems like we're dealing with now in 2 major cases that's going on, and God knows how many others that's not being televised. But I just want to ask Audrey, I think, and if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, I do apologize. But you've been a part of a corrupt system and having to, go to prison or be incarcerated for something that you didn't do. Do you mind sharing with me what you were convicted of and where did you experience the corruption in the system that it seems like Kels and baby oil men are dealing with at this time?
Okay. So I was originally charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Okay.
Before you go on, I just want to ask a question because I do remember you saying that you were raised in the church and everybody expected you to do well. And so my question with you being charged with that by a part of a corrupt system, how did you find yourself in that situation?
Okay. So someone that had an issue with me for years, over a decade, they found an opportunity, blocked my car in, and came with weapons to kill me. And I was able to wrestle their weapons away from them, and they got hit with one of their own weapons, a 3-centimeter scratch, what they call a laceration. They did not get any stitches. They did not get a regular Band-Aid, just a liquid Band-Aid called a Star Strip. It was a scratch. No ambulance, nothing. But that was terrifying in itself to think this could be my last day, right? But that was not, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. That's nothing compared to what the system did, right? I felt like I was betrayed by the police. Okay? So it started, the corruption started is 911 was called, but it took them over an hour to arrive. So because I let it be known to my public pretender that I would sue, I would file a civil rights lawsuit. They did everything they can to stop that. For example, the so-called victim in this case, they would not come forward. They left the country at least twice. They're from Jamaica. They left the country at least twice. And it was passed to me from my stepmother, who is friends with this person, that this person would not be coming forward. They were not trying to pursue me at all. But because I could sue and also she could sue, okay, because 911 is supposed to show up, right? The state themselves, they continued my case. The public pretenders continued my case illegally. By law, you have the right to a speedy trial. That means they have to bring you to trial within 175 days, 180 days maximum. So they violated my rights to a speedy trial, which had that been, what you call it, had they awarded me that, there would not have been a trial. I had to go to court for 4.5 years. In that time period, I saw cases get thrown out because there was no victim that came forward. And I'm sure you've probably known friends or family members that have had domestic violence cases, same aggravated battery cases. This girl just got charged with an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon this year, 2025. My situation occurred November 7th, 2011. But this person is still doing that kind of stuff. So when you have those cases, right, people oftentimes know you. And they will go to the prosecution and say, hey, I don't want to press charges. Hey, usually it's a baby mama, baby daddy type of thing. But usually those cases get dropped.
Listen. I'm sorry.
So
This what
she
I'm
asked me a question, Dana. You've spoken
say.
enough. You lied on this man enough.
Listen,
What
I
the
can't
reason
go no
I
further.
came up here
You went
is
to
to
the
tell
lady house.
you guys about the corruption in R. Kelly's case.
You were stalking the
But
lady
you
husband.
now got her
You went to
asking
the
about
house,
my case.
and you went to the
So I'm
house.
trying to
and
tell
the
her the
lady-
reason I'm here for the corruption.
The
corruption. You
Shane,
what?
can you
Because you
I
a
have a
pedo
question,
yourself. You
Audrey.
touch kids like
That's
infamous
what-
Sylvia,
I
like
touch
Larry
kids.
McGee, like Dubosky.
I touch kids.
Come on, that's the R. Kelly
Hey,
sector,
Audrey,
right?
Audrey,
Y'all are
Audrey.
all pedos, right?
Audrey, can I ask
Sorry,
you a
Shane.
question?
Damn, now I'm
Yes,
a pro.
yes, ma'am.
Dana, wait a minute. Let me speak to her for a minute, okay? Audrey, can I ask you a question?
I was going to tell you about the corruption, okay? It's first going to start with a violation of your due process, okay?
Jesus Christ.
Like your constitutional rights, your right to speedy trial, things that you should have available to you automatically. Like right now, I know someone facing a case where the police officer was not supposed to search them or the car. They were a passenger in a Lyft ride or a Uber ride. So these are cases that are not just my situation, but other people are facing these. And when it came to my case, it was so corrupt that they would manipulate the police reports. They manipulated the 911 call, the CAD screen, the CAD screen, which is what you pull. It's like a history of the 911 call. So if 911 has to keep calling the person back, okay, or if you're talking to someone else on the other line, 911 can actually break that line and listen to the whole conversation. So they manipulated a 911 call, shorten it down from an hour down to 12 minutes on one tape, 14 minutes on another tape. They moved parts of the call around from the front to the back, back to the front. You can hear the rrr in the tape. And I'm sure you guys have seen where video footage has been altered, right? Like if there's a police involved shooting,
Okay,
they'll
stop right
either
there. Stop right
hide
there.
footage
Stop
or
right there.
change it.
Audrey, stop right there. You said a videotape was manipulated, right?
I said a 911 call was manipulated.
Okay. I'm sorry, I
But
thought you
that's
said
I'm just
videotape.
going over the things that I can point out in these trials that are occurring now.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so the police
right.
report was
But
manipulated, the 911 call was manipulated, all of the evidence was manipulated. Even when we got to trial, the so-called weapon was opened.
so would it be
Okay,
safe to say
and
that R.
there was no
Kelly's
record of it being
videotape?
open. But
Is
let
it
me
safe to
finish. Let
say?
me
Wait,
finish.
but
I'm
hold
almost
on for a
done. I
second.
only got one more thing to say.
Okay.
And the last thing was the officer, the arresting officer, he even got on the stand and said, "No, I did not write this in this report. He did not write what was in the report." And the last thing I want to say is that the trial transcripts were also changed. So what was actually said at trial is not in the transcripts.
Okay, y'all.
Would
Can
So
it
I
be
that
ask?
safe to
means
say? Would it be safe to say that R. Kelly's video could have been manipulated?
what I'm telling you regards to his video is that number one, that is not R. Kelly on that portion of the tape. The portion of the tape with Rashawn, don't cut me, because you could have been went over this yourself. The tape was online. It's still online probably to this day. It was online all 2023. I watched it multiple times, well over 10 times in 2023, because I started
So you watching child porn?
following this sector in February of 2023. I don't care. I'm not afraid of jail. I'm not a snitch. I'm not scary. And I can hold my own.
Audrey, can I
Okay?
ask you a question?
So they can't threaten me. Go ahead.
Okay, because we've taken this man's life to a whole different section, but before we get back on topic, Shane, I'm sorry. I done read the comments and I'm 35 years old. I'm a woman in my own right. I've lived. I don't
I'll be
run and shy away
44
from
on
nothing.
Monday, so I'm
Yeah,
older.
I don't
Yeah, and
shy
you
away
read the
from
comments,
nothing
but
that
where are
I've
you
done.
going?
I'm asking.
You
I'm for the actual question.
I
Okay, just
know about the
hear.
comments. About that's the problem.
No,
See,
no, no, no,
y'all
no.
are going off of
Wait, can
rumors
just hear me
in these
out? Can you hear me
cases.
out? Can you please hear me out? This is
Yeah,
just a question.
you got to let her get the question off, Audra.
Yeah,
Appreciate that super
yeah.
sticker, Freshie. Go ahead, Kiki.
Okay, this is the thing. See, please don't cut me off because we're women. Women standing, we standing our shit. Like we don't shy away from that. We don't run away from nothing. We gonna stand in, regardless to what you say about if they manipulated evidence or whatever, right or wrong, true or false. Did you go to somebody's house for their husband? Yes or no?
Okay. First off,
That's just a yes or no. That's a
first
yes or
off,
no.
first off, I'm not gonna go into that because if I were to tell you the whole story, right, it's gonna make people look bad.
No,
A
it's. I
lot bad.
mean, I
And
don't want to
it
make
ain't
nobody
me.
look
I
bad.
won't
I
be the
just
one
have a
looking bad.
simple question.
Okay,
I
so
have a
I'm not
simple
going to talk
question.
about that because it's talking about other people that are not here to defend themselves.
But I'm not talking about the other people. I'm
No, but I'm
asking
not going to
you.
go into that because if I go into it, I'm going to tell the whole truth.
I'm not
So I'm
asking
not
for the
going
whole
to
truth,
go
baby.
into
I
that.
just want to
I'm
know,
not
did
going
you
to.
go to this
I
woman's
just
house
let
for
you
her
know.
husband?
I just let you know, okay, that I was 100% innocent. Okay,
Well, let me stop you right there.
100%
Let me tell you.
innocent.
Wait.
Okay.
Then we can stop this and get
So
back on
no,
topic.
because you
No,
had a
no,
question. This
no,
is
no.
Nikki, right?
Because if you went to anybody's
Kiki,
house for their husband, there was no way you were innocent. I don't
Kiki,
care.
Kiki,
If you went to
Kiki.
anybody's house
No, I did
for
not
their
go to
husband,
their house. See, that's where
okay,
you're
that's
wrong.
cool.
So
I'm
you're
not,
going by what you're reading in these comments.
and I
See,
asked you
and
a
that's the
question.
problem with these cases. You're talking about R. Kelly. It was rumored that he was going with minors 30 years ago,
That's what I saw.
and that's what you
But I
repeated.
can't ask
That's
R.
what you
Kelly that.
repeated. And do you understand that this is the world? Do you understand, Kiki?
Baby, don't try to flip
do you
this.
understand that this is the World Wide Web? No, but you got to understand that I've been peeping game that a lot of you on here are federal agents. The guy Shank Rock had on here last night, a federal agent.
They owe
Dana
me
J,
money.
a federal agent. Yeah, y'all come out here and y'all supposed to spin a narrative. This is what I'm gonna. They give y'all assignments. This is what you're gonna do. This is what you're gonna do. So don't come out here and just go off subject when this man is his life is on line. I'm done with my case. I'm done with mine.
Because I don't care what.
No, you got a mental issue, and it's called unlearning. It's called retarded. It's called you cannot comprehend well. That's why you up here asking dumb questions. Instead of asking questions about this case, why don't you go and research it like I have? Have you watched the tape? Have you watched the tape, Kiki?
I wish you well, baby.
Have you watched the tape? Have you watched the infamous P tape? Yes or no?
I wish you well. Much peace and blessings to you.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't. You got a problem
deep inside of you that needs to be healed. It's
you got
something inside
got
of
an
you.
Innate hatred inside of you, and I feel sorry for you.
No, I feel sorry. You need to take some time to yourself, and you need to do some self-evaluation. You
about
can't
what,
answer a simple question without
because you're
going
nosy,
into
Kiki. You're nosy. You're already butting into these people's cases, and you're spreading rumors about people. That means you're evil, Kiki. That means you're evil. And you're the same type of women that are up here convicting these men that are innocent of these crimes.
No, I'm not on
yes,
nobody.
You are. How many baby daddies you done called and lied talking about he got a gun, he got this? How many you done put in jail?
I have
How
one
many
child.
baby daddies do you have, Kiki?
One child. He says I don't have a baby daddy. My son has a father. I have one
Wait,
child.
were you married to him? Were you married? Were you married?
No, I was not. But my baby was pregnant.
And how old were you when you had this baby? How old were you when you had this baby?
I was 28 years old.
Okay, you were 28 years old. 28 and still had a child out of wedlock. What kind of sense does that make? It speaks to your character, Kiki.
What are you talking about?
It speaks to your character. You are an evil person. And you up here blaming these men, R. Kelly and Diddy, for your poor choice in men. For your poor choices. Your poor choices.
What do you mean? That has nothing to do. That has nothing
yes,
to do with
anything. It speaks to your character, your level of intellect.
She don't want to talk about her. Hey, Kiki, she don't want to talk about her case. Oh, but she want to try to jump into somebody else's case.
No, Dana J. What about your case? Because you a pedo.
What about my case?
I already pegged you. I pegged Larry. I pegged
let's keep it real.
Yeah, why did you introduce Miss Celia, who was on pre-trial release,
right out
and won't give a fuck? To R. Kelly? Why did you introduce her to R. Kelly?
Listen, watch this. Why do you want to call and text my phone in the middle of the night? Let's go there.
Call and text your phone in the middle of the night.
How many times do I leave you on red, motherfucker?
Okay. I can share screenshots, please. Because number one, Dana J.
Exit stage left, bitch.
Dana J.
Exit stage
number
left,
one.
Bitch.
Well, don't call her. Don't call her
He goes with me. He's gay. I believe everything Randa had to say about you.
And believe it.
You had no reason to come out here and call me out my name. I didn't call you out your name not once.
Right to call you out your name. And you ain't gonna play with me and call me no goddamn and
because you're sweet. You're sweet, Dana J.
None of that.
You're sweet. Yes, you are.
I got something to say.
I'm real sweet on the retarded.
I know you are.
I'm real.
I know you are.
Yeah.
And you're gay, and you go with kids. You go with chilling. Yes, you do.
I'm gay.
Yeah, and you go with kids, boys, little boys. I pegged you. I pegged you a long time ago. Ask Miss One Pap. I said, Miss Pap, I said I couldn't wait to turn on him. Yeah, you went to 4 Diddy parties. They told me all I needed to know. Then you trying to spin this case on Diddy? Because you did it to R. Kelly, but you're trying to ride the train, the negative train against Diddy. See, R. Kelly's sector was small. Y'all ain't have the attention. Y'all subscriber level shows that.
Watch
People in
this.
the
Ho, ho,
case
ho,
already
ho,
got
ho, ho.
11,000 subscribers extra
Watch this.
since the case started.
Watch this. This is how you break down an ignorant bitch. Watch
No,
this.
that's who you are. I know.
Watch
I
this.
passed.
No,
You
hold
Break
on,
down
proved
an
me
ignorant bitch.
wrong.
Watch this. And I'm not.
Data,
and, you know what? And I'm gonna break it down like this, Mel. Mel, Kiki, April, all the women up here. I'm gonna break it down like this. Women are women, but sometimes you gotta
All
call
of
a
us are
bitch
not the
exactly
same.
what the fuck she is.
Hold on. I want to
Women
say
are
something
women.
towards that chick that was
Well,
talking
why
badly
would you
about
call
you.
me
Because
that? I'm
first the
speaking
fuck off,
facts.
you don't know what the fuck you're talking about when it comes to fucking corruption, dude. You
Tell
really
me.
fucking don't. Shut the hell up. You don't.
Tell me what I said was wrong. Tell me why I lied at.
Bitch, first the fuck off, I'm gonna tell you right motherfucking now, okay? A
Who is
Brady
this,
violation
April?
is a violation against your goddamn rights, you dumb asshole.
A what?
A Brady violation. If you were actually corrupted
No, you said
in
a
the
Brady
system, you
violation
would
is a
fucking know
violation
that.
against what? Is a violation against what?
Your civil rights. Obviously, you don't know what the fuck you're
Okay.
talking about.
April, you're talking about
I don't want
one
to hear
thing.
shit
You're
that comes
talking
out your
about
mouth.
one
Shut
thing.
the fuck up and drop down off the
April.
panel.
April.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, there go your Caucasian privilege, your pink privilege.
Bitch, first fuck off, Caucasian privilege ain't got shit to do with this.
It's pink. Your pink
I
privilege.
know what the fuck I'm talking about because I am fighting a case against Brady violations.
Okay, that's one type of violation of Brady.
No, that's the only violation that comes into your civil rights. If you would know that, it classifies under a section of different laws.
No, it's not. No,
with
it's
your
not.
dumb ass.
Okay, so which constitutional right was violated in your Brady
None of your goddamn
violation?
business. If you would sit there and watch
Yeah,
this
because
show,
you don't know.
you would fucking know that.
You don't know.
Oh, yes, I
in
do
R.
know.
Kelly's case, surviving R. Kelly alone is it's called pre-accusation
on that
delay.
side where somebody fucking
So
lied
that
on
means
my
off
husband for
rip.
rape.
That
So
means
how the
according.
fuck are you gonna tell me?
Okay, that means according to the law.
No, that
he
does
wasn't
not mean
supposed to
according
even
to
be
the law
charged.
because if they don't have any evidence backing it up, where
Hey,
the
is
fuck
this
is their
the way?
case?
April, listen,
Yes.
listen. One thing we all gotta understand. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say this.
No,
Kiki
I
and-
just don't like the fact that
No,
she said everybody he's bringing on here is a fed.
Listen,
First, fuck off, I ain't a fed.
Listen,
I
April,
didn't say you, April.
April, listen. One thing I gotta say is I was wrong for calling the dog what she was. Okay.
Oh wow.
Thank you for
I was wrong for
apologizing.
doing that. And the thing is,
I
to
ain't
all the
apologizing.
real women and to all the real women, y'all are women. But sometimes you gotta put the stray dog in the pocket where she's at.
But then again, you know, wait, Dana, wait. You know, sometimes you just
Hey, Kiki,
people
hold
hang
on. Let me get this
themselves.
out, Kiki. Let me
All
get
I asked you was one
let me
question.
get this out, Kiki.
One
And because
question.
because now I'm
No,
talking
you
to the
tried to
same
take
people.
over my friend's panel, and that ain't cool.
But now
No,
I'm
I
talking
wanted
the
to
same
know
people.
from Dana J,
no,
why is he
no,
always
no,
focusing on the
no.
girl and not on the man on the tape?
April,
And he won't let me finish
April,
talking about the tape because you know what I'm going to say.
April, Kiki, and Mel.
Because he doesn't want
Here's
our
what I'm
kids
going to
free.
say. April, Kiki, and Mel, and Shank. This is what I'm going to say. Sometimes you got to let stray dogs stay in the pocket. At the end of the day, I've learned today that I'm a pedophile, I'm a kid lover, I'm gay, I'm an informant, but this the same stray dog that leave me dissertations and essays in my inbox on my
Hey,
And I
look,
still have
Mr.
all
Dana,
of my
look,
text
you an
messages.
informant, right?
And I got a
Tell
few
me
people
what
on here. I'm
location
finna
you told the
screenshot
police
send it
that
to.
bitch is a liar.
One Pat being one of them. Miss One Pat being one of
so
them.
the thing is,
One Pat, if you listen, I'm finna screenshot these text
this is the
messages he's
thing is,
talking about. I don't know what he's talking
this
about.
is a off. This is a off.
I'm not Randall.
This is an offspring channel. This is an offspring channel, and Shank believe in positivity. That's why he ain't saying nothing, because he really can go in and, like I say, a lot of people don't know him, and Shank done
Yeah,
turned
but like
loose.
Shank always says, he can't match up to a woman's energy.
Right, and that's why I was saying, you know what, I was going to go in, but then I had to think about it, like, nah, that's not a good look. And when Shank gave me that look, like, Dana, you know better.
You
Cool.
had already done it.
Cool.
So what you
So
talking
the thing,
about? You're
so the,
grown. You grown,
so the
right? You in
thing
your
is,
40s, right?
so
Yeah,
the
but
thing
you
is,
grown
at
too,
the
so
end
you
of the
should
day,
be
I
understanding how
haven't
to
said
stay in your
anything
place.
like that to him. I haven't
listen,
cursed him.
listen. At the end of the day, okay. A,
All right, y'all. So I got everybody backstage. Y'all just hold tight backstage. I will bring everybody back on. But when I bring everybody back on, let's get back on task, okay? Let's get back to what we all came for, and that's to talk about R. Kelly. Now, you could come in. When y'all come in, y'all could come in. Y'all could speak on Joycelyn's parents as far as is she doing it for the money? Or even y'all could just come in and give some knowledge on the case. All right. So let's not go back to where we just left that. All right. All right. And it don't matter who comes in, but let's just get back on task. All right. Let's talk about. Come on, Kiki.
I'll come in, Shank.
Oh, okay.
So dealing with Joycelyn, I don't really think her video is AI. I think that she's a grown woman, and she's sticking by her man. And in the parents really trying to and entice a 29-year-old woman she says she's almost 30 to come home, and who's to say she's a victim? If she's a sex slave, who's the overseer? R. Kelly been in prison about 6 years, right? Well, who's the overseer? I just, you have to have some kind of faith in something or someone, and she appears to be the one that's there for him. She's not letting anyone change her mind or entice her to do something, because at the end of the day, that's what all of this is all about. And somewhere we have to take all the lessons in life, all of the things that's been happening. I could say our wake up came during Kendrick Lamar halftime show. You got to really, really, really study that and see how the system. He gave us all of the information that we needed. There was a lot of people that was going back researching his show, looking for the symbolism. What did this mean? What did they mean when they did that? What did they mean? And then showing how the system. So because we are all in a point where we don't realize that we basically have control of the country, it's how we live and get along together. And because these guys they're billionaires, they have the money to put into the communities to make them grow and to put into people. But there are some, we do have that set of people that, feel like they're more entitled or they need a little bit more. But we all have to relax. I don't think that was AI. I really think that was her, and she was really saying how she feels. I got a phone. If I want to call, I'll call. But I'm not finna call y'all for y'all to try to convince me to turn against him. Why would I do that? Anybody that was there in his house was there because they wanted to be there. Because of what I said earlier. You might have some people that can sing, but they just don't have what it takes. And because they wanted that lifestyle, he said, hey, you can hang around. But you have to say, when somebody is producing platinum albums and they're spending 10, 12, 13 hours in the studio, when do they have time for all of the other stuff? The same thing with Baby Old Man. When did he have time to do all of that stuff? But yet he's running multiple businesses. He's a billionaire. He's traveling here to check on his alcohol here. He's traveling here to check on that. He's doing this. He's doing all of these things. When do they have time to do all of this other stuff that's being said? It's like they're taking one day and turning one day into a year. Does that make sense, Shane?
Yeah, I'm with you. Appreciate that super sticker, Miss T. I'm with you.
Or taking 2 or 3 instances and making it seem like it's been going on for 20 years. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like you know, we are going to have our certain feelings about this and about that, but what it was in both of these instances is just really what it was. But you should be serving time in prison for something that you did that will put you in a federal prison. And I don't see anything he did that put him in a federal prison for 30 years. That's insane. I yield the floor, Shane.
And that's where I'm at. Appreciate that super chat, Miss T. Good job. That's where I'm at. Come on then, Kiki.
I feel that the video with Joycelyn was real. Um, I think that her parents just made it so difficult for her to reach out to them, to even come home, or to try to communicate with them or have a relationship, because you know, people got to understand, when you're in a relationship, good or bad, regardless of how the outside see it, you see it completely different. So what her parents or the world may not like, she probably loves. And then you get to the place where, okay, he's been gone for a number of years, right? But before he left, she was with him for a number of years. She was a teenager, a young whenever she got with him. And sometimes it's hard to transition from, for some women, when you've been taken care of for so long, you may not have real world experience, like just talents or any type of skills that'll put you out there to get your own. So it's hard for a lot of women to come out and just say, okay, let me just go and get a job and take care of myself. So her being isolated or living however she's living, that may be the best thing for her at the moment that she feel, because that's what she's used to. She's used to being with him. She's used to being taken care of. And then she run the risk of, if she do contact her parents, what are they gonna do? They're gonna record her, put her online, sell it, try to expose the situation. So yeah, I think that video was real, and her parents just made it completely difficult for her to reach out to them or even want to have a relationship with them.
I agree, Kiki.
That's true. Come on there, Audra.
Hey, so I basically just want to say that I want to what I've done. If you can, if y'all let me speak just a little short while, maybe less than 3 minutes, okay? Um, the only three things I focus on this case is the infamous Pete's tape, right? I simply looked it up again. Okay, I saw it in 2002, right? It was online in 2008 when this trial occurred, and I saw him walking. You know, you can see him walking. He says the tape was doctored. It was doctored. And that video is still on YouTube. You guys can look it up. He's outside the courtroom telling you the tape is doctored. Okay. So you look at the tape, it's not him. Now in 2023, I wanted to look at it again because I'm on here talking on panels just like this and hearing people speak. Okay. So I went back, I watched the tape over and over again. And because I sometimes can see things differently, like I can draw you just like you look. Okay. So I may notice things the average person may not notice. So when I went and watched this tape, there's I noticed there are three different sex scenes. Like the tape plays one scene, it goes off. It plays another scene, it goes off, and it plays this movie in the background because these recordings were made over like a movie, like a Stephen King movie. Okay, so it's an older movie, and one sex scene you have R. Kelly with a low haircut, if that's him at all. You got him with a sort of like a straightened hairstyle, like if you apply a hot comb, what guys would do back in the day before they get their hairs braided. Okay. So it looked like that, but a little curl to it. Okay. And then the scene with Rashonda, um, the man had a bald head. Now, that's one thing. But also I looked at the sex styles, right? R. Kelly doesn't have baby mamas. He has all of his kids with one woman, and they had their first child after 2 years into their marriage. They courted for years before they even got married. Before they even got married. And I'm so sorry, Shank Rock. When I come on your show, I'm very tired and sleepy. So if I have slurred speech, that's the reason. Okay, I'm so tired right now. But on this video, the two other men, they pull out. They don't ejaculate inside the women that they're with. Okay, and one of those women you can clearly see is Lisa Van Allen. The other woman, I think it might be his wife, Drea Kelly. I'm not sure on that woman at all, and I'm not sure on the other two men at all. Okay, but the man with Rashonda, he actually ejaculates inside of her, which is indicative of a man that has many baby mamas. I'm not saying they all, okay, um, but Levi for Kelly, Carrie Kelly, they have multiple baby mamas. The man with Rashonda Landfair could be one of those men. Also, I looked at the growing size of each man. The men in the other two sex scenes had a different size growing, and they looked the same, like the same length, the same girth. It looked the same. The man with Rashonda, he had a wider girth and shorter growing. Okay, and he let you see the growing up close. Okay, in this video. Okay, and we all know when it comes to drawing art, you have sometimes I can't even think of terms when I'm this sleepy, but um it's distance, proportion, distance, I can't think of the right term, but you can look at something and say, okay, this is the same size, because you can compare it to something else in that video in terms of length. So this is how you know that those groins on the other two men are much longer. Okay, and you can also look at his physique. Now, the man with Rashonda is very muscular. Dana J put up a picture of the dude yesterday. You see his biceps? He was built. He was thick. Okay. Now, R. Kelly, if you guys go back and look at R. Kelly's videos, 1991, 94, 96, 98, even in that Sparkle video that came out in 1998. I don't know when it was filmed, but I assume 1998. I don't know. But if you look at his arms, even when he, curls it up like if you holding something in your hands, right? A tray or something. His arms are thin. They're flabby in a sense. He's like what's that basketball player that played for OKC? He hits all the three-pointers. Kevin Durant. Okay? He was like a Kevin Durant, slender, great at basketball from what I hear. But his physique was very, very slender. His neck, all of this is very, very slender. His body, very, very slender. So if you look at the man on this tape, and if you listen to what Sparkle said, she said that she believes the tape was made in 1998 because of a song from the Backstreet Boys or whoever. She said the song came out in 1998. And she says her niece wore the same hairstyle back in from 94 to 1998, some time period, right? Is what she's saying. So all I did was put two and two together. Okay. So I myself went back and looked at all of everything I can find on YouTube videos, award shows where he goes up and talks at the panel, anything, okay, that has R. Kelly in it. And if you notice, he typically wore baggy clothes. Even when he went on that one show with Aaliyah, he wore baggy clothes. You have to watch everything. Like, you have to look at all of these videos. So what I also did was I found a video between Carrie Kelly and Wendy Williams. Carrie Kelly tells Wendy Williams, because he hated his brother with a passion. I don't know why, but he did. So Carrie Kelly told Wendy Williams that his brother, the other brother, and R. Kelly, the three brothers, went into a movie gallery or some type of blockbuster video, some movie store, Hollywood Video somewhere. And R. Kelly went and purchased a brand new Stephen King movie. He said it was the same movie they wanted to see. But he said instead of watching this movie, because he said R. Kelly loved Stephen King, he said that R. Kelly instead picked up some 12-year-old Caucasian college students. he said 12-year-old Caucasian college students, not in that direct order, but he said 12-year-old Caucasian. They're 12 years old, Caucasian, and in college. I don't know any 12-year-olds that are in college. Not that many 12-year-olds anyway. You might have one in that whole college, if that. Okay. But he said these were 12-year-old Caucasian girls in college. And he said that R. Kelly recorded them and, recorded himself having sex with 12-year-old Caucasian girls. And he recorded it over the Stephen King movie. Now, why if he did this, why wouldn't he just go buy a brand new Memorex tape, a blank tape, and record over that? Why would he record over an existing movie and a brand new movie as well? Why can't he just take a movie out of his collection or buy a used movie within that store? Why would you go buy a brand new movie that you've been dying to see and record over that? So that was a dead giveaway. So now I'm like, the brother said the girl was 12 years old. Plus, when I watch the video and look at this girl, she looks 12 years old in terms of her breasts, her body. She looks young. And Sparkle keeps trying to make everyone believe that this tape was made in 1996. I'm sorry, 1998 instead of 1996. So I have to then look at all of these videos that Sparkle has put out there, and I have to look at what's going on, what's current events, putting context clues together. What happened between 1994 and 1998, from 1998 to 2002 when the tape hit the streets as a bootleg. So in 1996, R. Kelly was pretty much the man by then. He was able to afford multiple body doubles. He was able to afford a stage full of people. So if you go and pull up his bump and grind video from 1995, bump and grind video from 1995, okay, you have a lot of men on stage, some on motorcycles. You have Drea Kelly on stage. You have body doubles. You couldn't tell which one was R. Kelly. R. Kelly comes up there, he pulls down his pants on stage, and you see his boxers. He's super skinny compared to these other men who are built, that have biceps, curls, muscles.
Right.
Okay.
I got you on that one, Audrey. Any last words, Mel, before we get out of here? We're gonna wrap it up. Any last words, Mel?
Um, um, no, Shank. It was interesting to share my thoughts, but no, I don't really have any last thoughts right now. But I'll see you next time. Okay.
I
Good
appreciate
night,
you.
Audrey, and I think that's Kiki.
Good night, Mel.
All right.
Good night, Mel.
I do
Any
want to say
last
one
words,
last thing.
Kiki, before we get out of here?
Yes, I want to say thank you for allowing me up, and I want to apologize for earlier. Thank you for not kicking me out. Um, Good night, Chet. Good night, Shank. Good night, Miss Audra.
Good
Good
night,
night,
Kiki.
Kiki. Audrey,
Yes.
any last words?
Um, I wanted to say that I had a whole lot to say, but I know you want to cut it short. So I wanted to say that I want everyone to go watch the video. The beginning of the portion with Rashonda Lanford, he pays her cash money. The dude on the video pays her cash money. R. Kelly is a Capricorn. Those men are typically neat. My father was a Capricorn. I have a brother that's a Capricorn. I dated a Capricorn. Their money is typically ironed and neat. The money that he handed her was all frumpy. Okay. Then he goes off camera to look at the camera to make sure that he filmed that frame, that he was in the frame of the camera. And then he goes back to proceed to do the do. Okay. So that's another dead giveaway that not only was the tape fabricated, but it was designed to frame him. So putting together what Carrie Kelly said, I believe that they was intending to put this tape into R. Kelly's movie collection and call the police to his house. And somehow they got caught. So I I think that R. Kelly should have taken a stand. He should have spoken up about this. But who is the man on the tape? You know? Did he want to get that girl's family in trouble? Did he want to get Sparkle in trouble for doing this to him? You know, maybe Sparkle didn't expect the tape to come out in 2002, you know, but at the end of the day, R. Kelly is protecting all of these people involved: Rashonda, her mother, her father, Sparkle, and the man on the tape, and whoever else knew about it, including Lisa Van Allen, because she put her portion of the tape with it. So that's why you got the different hairstyles too. Because back in 1996, what was the hairstyle R. Kelly was rocking? So that too is the reason I believe the tape was made when the girl was 12 back in 1996. And on top of what Carrie Kelly said, putting that together. And the last part I want to say is about the marriage license, because it would take a long time to go into the actual part. But the marriage license, yes, please, everybody look at it and ask yourself, why would our government allow a falsified marriage license in as evidence? Why would they even let Demetrius Smith testify? Why would they even allow the preacher, the pastor that's on that marriage license, take the stand if this was all a lie? That right there tells you, okay, Audra is telling you the truth about government corruption. Audra is telling you the truth when they will manipulate tapes. Audra is telling you the truth when they're saying they will manipulate trial transcripts. So when R. Kelly go back to his cell at night and he reads his trial transcript, if it's wrong, if it's not what it said, what was said in court, if he can't read it, how would he know? So that's one thing I've asked the R. Kelly sector. Were you guys in court? Did what you hear coincide with the trial transcript? So I ask these questions for a reason. So with that tape, I hope everybody goes back through it, look at it, because there's 3 different scenes on there. You pick through it. You know, you tell me what you see, right? The clothing, you know, it's the same clothing, right? But we gotta use our common sense and figure this out. Um, that in the marriage license number, and I know this is being said through the PD trial. If you catch a person in one lie, why not just throw out their whole testimony? So if we catch our government doing something this heinous, why do we not throw out the entire prosecution? If they allow the falsified marriage license in as evidence, don't you think the tape is false? Don't you think that Azrael, they're gonna let her lie and say, yeah, I had sex with R. Kelly at 17? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's all I wanted to say, Shank Rock. And I am sorry that they brought up my situation. Because only reason I mentioned my situation is because I wanted to let people know that corruption does take place. Because, like I said, I didn't follow the OJ trial. My mother, everybody followed that. I didn't. Um, I figure, okay, just stop getting in trouble. You won't go to, you won't be getting in jail if you stop doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I'm just a regular person. I work a regular jobs. I'm just a regular person that stays on my P's and Q's. I don't bother people. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to do nothing to get myself in trouble. And people have put me in situations. You know, I'm talking about situations ain't got nothing to do with none of this that I think back. I'm like, well, dang, I was young and I went, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what I'm saying is like, we got to look also, I want the women out here to look on the inside and see, why do you guys hate these men so much? Who in your life, what was done to you in your childhood, your adulthood, what was done to you to make you hate black men? Because I see all of the comments, I see the headlines when it comes to Diddy and R. Kelly and all the rest of them. Y'all threw Bill Cosby under the bus, and he just want us to be engineers and lawyers and things that had substance, right? But that's all I wanted to say, Shank Rock, and I appreciate you. I don't know
Appreciate
you,
you.
and I stand by what I said 100% on the federal informants. They've done things that have stood out that makes them federal informants. So I don't take that back. I can email you everything I found if you want me to. If you have an email address, I can do that. But I can email you everything that I found, what I've uncovered from following this R. Kelly sector since February of 2023. But I think that you yourself, I don't know if you can help free him, But I think just talking about it, and because there was one other lady that went back and watched the video, and she confirmed everything I said in that
Are you?
video.
Let me ask you
So
this, Audra. Are you on Instagram, Audra?
no, and also Shank Rock. The reason I said that when I came up with the first beginning part is because I was about to tell everybody I love y'all, but I think I'm gonna get off of YouTube, get off of this internet altogether, because it takes a lot out, and just hearing all of the hate that you guys spew, it you don't understand that this country is not safe for us black people. It's not. Shank, I heard you. You said you had 80 some charges thrown on you. You don't understand. Y'all, I'm in Florida. Don't you? How many fam? I don't know where y'all at, but my whole family done been through this mess. I do not. This is not safe for us. It is not safe for us here. And I hope that when R. Kelly, um, Diddy, all of them, when they get out, they find a country in Africa, and we all just kind of gravitate there. That's the only place that wants to welcome us. All of the Jamaicans, Haitians on here, they seem to hate us. Too Strong is from Jamaica. Infamous Celia is from Haiti. Famer 2 is from Jamaica. They call us all kind of names. They hate us. Larry McGee is not from here. These people are on here throwing our people under the table. Yes, P. Diddy may suffer from colorism. He may have put this girl on a pedestal, but I still love him. I love our people. I love my people from all around the world, Africa, Jamaica. If anyone knows Black history, that would be me. And I'm talking about real Black history, where we come from, what we've been through, from Australia to every country in Africa. So I'm not on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Audra Mullins, Mullins. If you can instant message me or DM me there or whatever. But I can get your email. I can email you what I found as well. But it's just I only talk about these three things because, as R. Kelly says himself, Azrael took up 90% of his New York case, and really the other 10% is Demetrius Smith in this infamous marriage license, right? So that's all I focused on. Yes, I focused on Faith Rogers and the rest of them, but it doesn't make any sense when his case is so heavily weighed on. That's why every time he call in on these lives, he's talking about his rights being taken because he knows he's not on that tape. So he don't ever talk about the Chicago case or that tape because that's not him. He told us the tape was doctored. But what was done for him in the New York, and I know people don't want to listen, right? They don't want to listen because, like, well, like what Tasha K said, we don't care how they got you, because she was glad they used Rico. She was just glad that they got him, but she didn't look at the evidence for herself. She didn't look at the evidence for herself. So that's what. And also, if
And I don't
I thought,
I don't mean to cut you off, Audria, but I'm gonna see
okay,
you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna go over Aaliyah's and R. Kelly's marriage license. So make sure you
okay.
pull up tomorrow, all right?
Could you
And
do me a favor? Could you go
sure.
to Cook County Clerk of Courts? It's public information, just like you would look up anybody else's case, and just
Okay.
type in Aaliyah Halton. Type in her name. Look and see that it's a real case that the Attorney General of Illinois represented the county. Ask yourself, why would she sue a county that she never lived in? You can sue for multiple things. One thing you can sue for is just information, right?
Okay. Okay.
So that marriage license, it was never filed. It was not real. You can look at it yourself. There was no John Hancock's. But our government, Judge Ann Donnelly, R. Kelly's mole planted attorneys, like public pretenders, those were who they were. These
Okay.
the
Uh,
prosecutors, they allowed that in. So you yourself, Shane, you understand that. Look into it. But yeah, eventually I'm gonna be completely off of this YouTube completely because it's too negative. Everything that comes up is all, you know, it goes back to Jacko the Wacko. Remember how they talked about Michael Jackson? This is too much for me.
You
And
got me.
but I'm
Hey,
saying though, we gotta
Audra.
think history doesn't repeat. History repeats itself. These people, see, Caucasians, they don't reinvent the wheel. Christopher
Audra.
Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. 50
Audra.
million Jews died in
Let,
World War II, right?
let,
But they don't
let,
tell you
let's,
that 72 million people died. So that's what I'm saying. They're not going. This is their tactics, but now our Willie lynching, we're doing it to ourselves, and no
Audra,
one wants to take accountability for it.
I'm
Yes.
with you. I sent you something on Facebook. Meet
Okay.
me over there on Facebook, and
Make
I'll
sure it's
see.
the right Facebook page because one is fake. Okay. One is fake. Someone set it up.
Hey, Audrey,
Yes.
I want to send you my Christmas list. I want to
I owe
send
you
you
a present. I owe you.
hell to the yeah, because your
Oh,
foggy ass was supposed to been got through
I'm
with your last
sorry.
words.
I'm sorry. But
Now,
I thank you, Shank Rock. You're very, very see, I can't even think of the word. What do you call it? Not
patient,
nice, no, the other one. Polite. You're very polite.
polite, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and and
cause I
and it's
I couldn't
listen,
even think of
and
the word cursive the other day. I told
yeah,
you I'm tired.
but hold tight. Now,
Mm-hmm.
not you, Audrey. Now, when y'all funky asses be trying to come for Shank, y'all see all the shit that I got to put up with up on this motherfucking panel. And when I ask for super sticker,
Yeah.
by the way, Audrey, support the channel by purchasing a membership, super sticker, or a super chat. Look, y'all, it's
Okay.
been my
Do you have
pleasure.
Zelle? Do you have
Yeah,
Zelle?
no, I got Cash App. My Cash App, $
Yes.
ERICMCINT.
Cash App don't let me send them all. I sent too much money, you know.
Okay, okay.
But
But
I
we'll get,
could do the thing when you go live. I can hit
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
I'll
get
do
up.
that.
Okay, Audrey, we'll get up tomorrow. All right. I'm going to leave the chat running. Like I said, y'all funky asses, all the shit that Shank Rock put up with up here, y'all funky asses better start hitting my Cash App, my super stickers, my super chats, and my memberships. I appreciate all of y'all. I'm going to leave the chat running, and y'all can hang around. Salute everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Salute.
Yeah.
No, you're
Next
right.
question.
No, you're right. I would not, but this is a very different circumstance.
It's
And
not
I
a
think
different
it's a fair
circumstance. There are
question.
people all over the world who have multiple girlfriends. It's no different.
Do both of you all believe you're in love with him?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Should your
No.
parents be concerned?
No.
Why?
Well, my parents knew where I have always been for 4 years. They have known. They know that I've been well taken care of.
They never thought you were missing, Azrael. They just were wondering if you were okay.
Well, my parents have actually came to Chicago and seen me a few times. I've talked to them. They stopped answering my calls.
You know what they say? They say that you were brainwashed. I talked to your dad last night. He says, my daughter is brainwashed and he's very concerned. He said he was here 2 days ago and you wouldn't even look him in the eye.
Okay, I wouldn't look him in the eye because he's a liar and he's a manipulative liar.
I'll tell you why they're concerned, Azrael, because they say she's 17. We found text messages that indicated that she was having sex with R. Kelly when she was 17. Is that true?
No, that is a lie. That is a lie. I was not having sex with him at 17.
Why would they want to lie about you, their daughter?
Okay, so when I first met Robert, my parents told me to lie about my age. So when I met him, he thought that I was 18. On top of that, when I was 17, my parents were actually making me, trying to get me to take photos with him, take sexual videos with him, all kinds of stuff.
Wait. Your parents encouraged you to do sexual videos with R. Kelly?
Yes. And they said because if they ever have to blackmail him, what they're trying to do now, they can use it against him, which is exactly what they're doing.
Joycelyn, I see you nodding a lot with what
Yes.
she's saying. Why are you nodding in agreement with what she's saying?
Because everything that she's saying is true. Our parents are basically out here just to get money, and
Your
they're
parents,
scamming.
you're saying the same as saying?
Well,
you're
both
saying-
of our parents are basically out here to trying to get money and scam because they didn't agree on what happened, with music or wherever it could be, and they're just very upset.
This is the first time hearing, to be honest with you, that your parents are trying to get money from R. Kelly.
Okay.
Because your father told a very different story
Yeah.
to me last night.
Yeah, he's the manipulative. He's very manipulative. So he's the one you need to watch out for. But my dad and my mom, they started to send threats to both me and him. They said, oh, I'll put all your naked pictures all over the world. I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin him. If he doesn't send $20,000 to this bank account by Monday, oh, I'm going to put everything out there and then $10,000 after that. You're trying to solicit me like I'm some